Chapter 3078. Shui Jiyu had returned from the blood-refining planet? Damn it, this woman was a lunatic. She definitely had the strength to compete for the top 5 this time. Shui Jiyu Ling Longfeng ranked second. She was a terrifying woman who cultivated in the blood-refining mountain all year round. The blood-refining planet was not under the jurisdiction of the Extraordinary Warrior Mansion. It was an ownerless planet not far from the Extraordinary Warrior Mansion. This planet was too dangerous. It was a place where no one cared about. There were battles every day and geniuses fell every day. It was extremely dangerous. Ordinary geniuses like the Extraordinary Warrior Mansion and the Heavenly Clouds Mansion would not go to such a place. Only those ambitious and ruthless people, perverts, lunatics, and those who had offended others from other planets could survive there. Shui Jiyu had been there all year round and could be said to be a terrifying lunatic. Mo Tian was also incredible. It was said that he had found the remains of a half-step saint and obtained a lot of good things. Mo Tian, ranked second on the Divine Tactics Mountain and 7th on the Extraordinary Warrior Mansion. It seemed that this time he was also a popular candidate for the top 5. These were all top figures. Their fortuitous encounters and the changes in their strength were enough to cause a change in the Extraordinary Warrior Mansion. The full moon peak was also not calm because Mo had also returned. Mo did not choose the Extraordinary Warrior Mansion to cultivate in seclusion, but another planet. It was called the Fallen Abyss Star. It was said that the planet was ruled by a demonic sect. The entire planet was filled with terrifying demons. However, later on, a peerless expert passed by and killed all the demons on the planet. That place became a purgatory on Earth. It could be said that it was a place with monstrous demonic chi. Those half-step saints were not willing to go there. And that place was the place where Mo cultivated in seclusion. Mo had made up his mind this time because he'd suffered 2 consecutive blows during the ranking competition on Full Moon Peak. First, he'd lost to Huangfu Badian, and then he'd lost to Lin Xian. This was something he couldn't endure. In particular, Lin Xian had successfully comprehended the full moon wordless steel, which stimulated Mo even more. Therefore, Mo disregarded everything and even risked his life to go to the Fallen Abyss. It was all for the sake of improving himself. After a few months of inhuman torture and some fortuitous encounters, his strength had finally undergone earth-shaking changes. He even obtained a broken treasure of the demonic sect, the demonic flag. Once he used the demonic chess set and added the power of his bloodline, he could reach 65,000 Archean power. Although it couldn't compare to the North Yao, it should be enough to deal with Huangfu Badian and Lin Xian. Damn brat, just you wait. This time, I will defeat you in front of everyone. I will let everyone know that I, Mo, am the strongest. Black Demon grinned hideously. Demonic chi surged from his body as he returned to the full moon peak. The aura he brought with him alarmed the prodigies on the plenilune B. Mo was back. His aura was so powerful. Damn it, what had he gone through? How could his strength increase so quickly? I heard that he fell into the abyss. It couldn't be. That place had a high chance of survival. Even a half-saint wouldn't want to go there. Who would have thought that the Black Demon would dare to go? No wonder his strength had increased so quickly. Everyone was shocked. Black Demon returned. He shouted confidently and arrogantly, "Where are Huangfu Badian and Lin Xian? Tell them to come out. I will let them know who is the strongest person on the full moon peak." Everyone's expression changed when they heard that. They didn't expect that the first thing the Black Demon did after returning was to fight Huangfu Badian and Lin Xian. However, it was understandable. After all, the Black Demon was such a proud person, but he had been defeated by the 2 of them. Now that his strength had increased greatly, he naturally wanted to take revenge. Huangfu Badian hadn't come out of seclusion yet, right? How much had his strength increased? Lin Xian should also be in seclusion. However, it wouldn't be easy for the Black Demon to defeat Lin Xian. Yes, Lin Xian had defeated the Poison King a few months ago. His strength was absolutely terrifying. Even if the Black Demon's strength had increased greatly, he might not be a match for him. After the Black Demon returned, he found that Huangfu Badian and Lin Xian were both in seclusion. This made him very unhappy. Could it be that he had to wait until the competition to deal with these 2 people? Thinking about it, he revealed a trace of malevolence. Fine, he would defeat these 2 people in front of everyone in the competition. The Black Demon had already imagined that scene in his mind. He would step on Huangfu Badian and punch Lin Xian, showing off his strength. Thinking of this, he laughed complacently. This kind of scene was really exciting. However, half a day later, his face was gloomy, and his demonic aura overflowed. Because he heard a rumor. This rumor was spread from the mouths of several martial artists. They said that he challenged Lin Xian and was in danger? There was almost no chance of winning. Damn it, how was this possible? Even if that kid was talented, his strength definitely didn't increase as fast as his. He entered the falling abyss this time and narrowly escaped death. That was why his strength increased greatly. It was really for revenge. That kid was only in seclusion and comprehending some things. How could he be stronger than him? What a joke. He didn't believe it at all. A bunch of idiots, what did they know? How could my strength increase be imagined by you? If you talk nonsense again, be careful that I don't kill you. The black demon walked between the full moon peak and roared coldly at the geniuses who were discussing. Those geniuses felt their scalps go numb. Just the aura emitted by the black demon was enough to make them collapse. However, since Lin Xian represented the extraordinary warrior mansion and defeated the genius of the heavenly clouds mansion, Xian Yun, and the Poison King, he had won a group of followers. Many of them were afraid of the black demon, but they still supported Lin Xian. One of the female geniuses was extremely beautiful. Even though her face was pale, she could not help but mutter softly, "That's right." "What's wrong?" "Although you are powerful, young Master Lin also defeated the Poison King." "That's right, young Master Lin's strength is super strong. He might not lose." Another female martial artist also discussed in a low voice. What did you say? He defeated the Poison King?" The black demon's hearing was very strong. Although the two female geniuses whispered, he still heard them clearly. Hearing this news, the black demon's first reaction was that it was impossible. What a joke. How could that kid defeat the Poison King? He knew that the Poison King was a genius of the Heavenly Clouds Mansion, and he was an expert in using poison. The Poison King's divine ability was strange and impossible to guard against. If a King Realm cultivator was careless, there was no way to cure his poison. Especially when the Poison King had the seven-colored centipede. Even a half-step saint would be seriously injured if they were bitten by it. His scalp went numb when he saw such a person. In the past, he couldn't defeat the Poison King at all. Now, even if his strength had increased greatly, he didn't dare to fight the Poison King easily. Chapter 3079. After all, he was cultivating outside and had not seen the previous battles. Now he only heard about it from these people. How could he believe it? He knew that these people would exaggerate when they talked about it. Therefore, he would not take this kind of rumor seriously. Damn kid, I didn't expect that in the months I was away he would swindle people here again. Well, when he comes out, I'll teach him a lesson in public during the competition. I'll trample this kid under my feet in front of all the elders of the heavenly sect. Heimo snorted coldly and turned to leave. Heimo's powerful return not only caused quite a commotion at Full Moon Peak, but it also caused quite a commotion at the other peaks. After all, his return from the fallen abyss was really eye-catching. As the day of the competition approached, the sky prides of the four peaks came out of seclusion, especially the top three. When they heard that Heimo had returned from the fallen abyss, they were very surprised. Heimo really doesn't care about his life. In order to improve his strength, he went to such a place. It seems that his strength has increased greatly this time. He's a strong enemy. Many people's eyes flickered and they clenched their fists. After all, Heimo was ranked 9th last time. This time his strength had increased again. They were afraid that he wanted to reach the top 5. I wonder how Huangfu Badian is doing? There's also Lin Xian. Huangfu Badian was ranked 1st in the Full Moon Peak and 5th in the Extraordinary Scholar Mansion. He was very powerful and could not be underestimated. He was very likely to reach the top 3 this time. As for Lin Xian, he was even more amazing. They had seen with their own eyes that he had successfully comprehended the full moon wordless steel. He was a genius that was hard to come by in 10,000 years. However, although he was talented, these sky prides did not take him seriously for the time being. It was not easy to successfully comprehend the full moon wordless steel. Although Lin Xian had the opportunity to comprehend it, it would be impossible for him to succeed without a few hundred years. In just a few months, it would be difficult for his strength to change dramatically. Even if he did, he would not surpass them. However, they were soon stunned. Because they learned that when they were in seclusion, the Heavenly Cloud Mansion sent sky prides to challenge them. One of them was called Xian Yun. He was very powerful and defeated the geniuses of the Extraordinary Scholar Mansion. If it were not for Jianghu and Zhong Linxiu, the Extraordinary Scholar Mansion would not have won. What happened next? The geniuses of the four peaks had ugly expressions on their faces. Damn it, these guys actually dared to attack us while we were in seclusion. When the time comes, we'll definitely pay them back. In their opinion, this time, their Extraordinary Warriors Mansion had definitely lost their face and returned with a great defeat. However, the result was once again beyond their expectations. From the mouths of the surrounding martial artists, they found out that their outstanding scholar manner didn't lose this time, but won instead. Not only did he get back at Shen Yun in the end, he even made the arrogant Shen Yun apologize and cripple his own arms. What was going on? The geniuses who were in seclusion asked quickly. Soon they heard a name. Lin Xian. At the critical moment, it was Lin Xian who made a forceful move, defeating Shen Yun. Damn it, this brat's strength is actually so strong? These people were surprised, but even more shocking things were yet to come. What did you say? Not only did that brat defeat Shen Yun, he even defeated the Poison King. Which Poison King? Qin Ku from the Heavenly Clouds Mansion? Impossible. Qin Ku's strength was extremely terrifying, especially with the 7-colored centipede in his hands. Ordinary people would not be willing to fight with him at all. Even invincible kings would be killed. He would be injured for half of his life. What? You saw it with your own eyes? I won't believe it even if you beat me to death. It's impossible for Lin Xian to defeat such a person. Unless I saw it with my own eyes. These geniuses who were in seclusion all shook their heads in disbelief. This news was too shocking and they couldn't accept it for a while. The North Demon also received this news and frowned. He directly summoned Jianghu to his side. Sister, what's going on? Are the rumors outside true? Jianghu immediately told the North Demon everything that had happened a few months ago. After the North Demon heard this, his expression was incomparably solemn. The joy that he originally felt from increasing his strength from his seclusion also vanished like smoke. In that case, the Poison King was really defeated by Lin Xian. This Lin Xian even comprehended 2 extremely terrifying powers. The North Demon took a deep breath. He didn't expect that the shocking news outside was actually true. But how was this possible? How could Lin Xian possibly defeat the Poison King? What were those 2 mysterious powers? Could it be that kind of power? The North Demon thought of a possibility, and then his pupils constricted. Impossible, it was impossible for him to comprehend that kind of power so quickly. He was too shocked. He had the 10,000 monster body, and his talent was extremely terrifying, but he still spent more than 100 years to comprehend that kind of power. How could Lin Xian comprehend it in just a few months? However, no matter what, Lin Xian was a peerless enemy. This time he definitely had the strength to enter the top 5 or even the top 3. Others might not believe it, but the North Demon had to treat it seriously. Descendant of the Great Dragon, let me see just how strong you really are. The North Demon took a deep breath and waited for the final battle. Yu Linglong and Han Fei also came out of seclusion. When they heard the news, they didn't quite believe it. In their opinion, the rumors were exaggerated. Therefore, they didn't pay too much attention to it. Although Lin Xian was strong, he was still not a match for them. It was still uncertain whether or not he could defeat Huangfu Beidian. After Huangfu Beidian came out of seclusion, he was also shocked when he heard the news. When he heard the news about the Black Demon, he also took a deep breath, and a biting cold light burst out of his eyes. Black Demon? He was courting death. His goal this time was not the Black Demon, but to enter the top 3. He had to enter the top 3. The day of the competition was getting closer and closer. There were only 10 days left, and everyone was making their final preparations. In the mountains there was a courtyard that occupied a large area. There were birds chirping and flowers fragrant, and it was like a paradise. The entire courtyard was enveloped by a peerless array formation. Lin Xian sat cross-legged in the array formation. The spirit-gathering array beside him, the king herbs, divine crystals and natural treasures had all dimmed. He had absorbed all the energy in the array formation. Lin Xian had a scroll beside him. Golden light flickered in his eyes, and a terrifying power surged from his body. Kid, you're awake? When the dark red dragon saw Lin Xian stand up, it also flew over from the other side of the courtyard. Lin Xian stood up and stretched his body. His body made crackling sounds and his body shone with boundless light that shot into the sky. What time is it? He asked. There were still 10 days before the competition. 10 days? It's not too late. Lin Xian nodded. How's it going outside? Those guys outside have all come out of seclusion and so has the Black Demon. As soon as he came out, he clamored to challenge you. But at that time, you were in seclusion, so he kept quiet after 2 days. The Black Demon? Lin Xian shook his head slightly. He didn't take it seriously. Indeed, he didn't take it seriously because no matter what changes the Black Demon had made, he was no longer a match for him. In the past few months, his understanding of Tao had deepened. As for his strength, it was also rapidly increasing. Chapter 3080. This thing might not be of much use in the hands of other invincible kings, because they had not reached that level and could not comprehend it. But to Lin Xian, this was simply a heaven-sent opportunity. Lin Xian needed this kind of enlightenment right now. It could be said that this great Tao enlightenment scripture had saved Lin Xian a few hundred years of detours. Because of this great Tao enlightenment scripture, Lin Xian comprehended something that would have taken hundreds of years to comprehend in a few months. Perhaps even Zhong Lingxiu would not have thought of this. The two powers that were close to Tao had increased again. His understanding and application of these two powers had become more thorough. Of course, their power had also increased exponentially. If he were to fight with the Poison King now, he could defeat him in one move. Because he could make his opponent collapse with just one move, annihilation. This was the power that was close to Tao. Not only that, Lin Xian also combined this power with his sword techniques, and even combined it with the heavenly secret God Eye and the Great Dragon Sword Soul. The Great Dragon Sword Soul was magical. Not only could it increase the power of Sword Qi, but it could also increase the power of all mystiques. The power that was close to Tao was already very strong. If it was combined with the Great Dragon Sword Soul, its power would be even more terrifying. By using two powers that were close to Tao, Lin Xian could reach 70,000 Archean power. Once combined with the Great Dragon Sword Soul, it would be even more terrifying. This was definitely a terrifying battle strength, probably surpassing the North Demon. Of course, Lin Xian was only guessing because he had not seen the North Demon in action. It was just his speculation. Other than the North Demon, Lin Xian really did not care about anyone else, let alone the Heimo. What would be the reward from the House of Prodigy this time? It would be best if it was related to comprehending the laws of heaven and earth. Now he was more and more delighted with the laws. He felt that this was true power. Only by mastering this power would he be a true expert. He had to comprehend the laws as soon as possible and reach the Sage Realm. Next, Lin Xian adjusted his state, keeping himself in peak condition at all times so that he could deal with the upcoming competition. Finally, the day had arrived and the extraordinary warrior manor was in an uproar. Countless elders of the Heaven sect cheered because this was a golden age for them. They were about to witness the rise of a prodigy. This time, the outstanding Scholar Manor had opened the ancient battle platform, using the grandest scale to hold this competition. The geniuses of the House of Prodigy had arrived early and were waiting anxiously. Those elders also chuckled as they came to the clouds, sat down cross-legged and looked down. He wondered how many amazing fellows would soar to the heavens this time. Did you hear that Jun Wuya had a breakthrough again? That's right. This guy's talent was also terrifying. He was second only to the Northern Demon. The first place of each of the four peaks was terrifying. Apart from that, the second and third place of each of the four peaks were terrifying too. Apart from Jun Wuya, there was also that monstrous genius who was also an incredible figure. Yes, there was also that black demon. It was said that he went to the fallen abyss and came back successfully. After returning, his strength had increased greatly. It seemed that he would be able to shine this time as well. These elders discussed spiritedly, but two of them shook their heads. What I'm looking forward to the most is not these people, but that little fellow called Lin Xian. This little guy was really something. A few months ago he had defeated the Poison King and displayed a power that was close to the Tao. He wondered what kind of improvement he would get this time. A power that was close to the Tao? Sixth Elder, Seventh Elder, the two of you don't talk nonsense. Although that little kid had started to comprehend the moon-gazing wordless steel, how long had it been? How could he have comprehended it completely? He probably couldn't even grasp the slightest bit of it. That's right. We might not even be able to control the great Tao of heaven and earth. How could that kid do it? The other elders shook their heads in disbelief. The Seventh Elder and the Sixth Elder, who were the two elders who secretly watched Lin Xian's competition, were so angry that their beards were sticking up. I say, are you guys doubting our words? What? Could it be that the old man was lying? The two elders were extremely agitated. The other elders said. They didn't know if he was lying, but it was possible that he was bragging. You said that the kid had a power that was close to the Tao. That was clearly a joke. How dare you doubt me? Do you dare to make a bet with me? These two elders are very angry at you. What did they mean? Did they not believe them? Or did they not believe Lin Xian? What a joke. They had seen it with their own eyes. Could it be fake? They didn't see it with their own eyes. I won't believe it. The other elders shook their heads. After all, the matter was too shocking. They didn't dare to believe it at all. The two sides gradually quarreled, and at this time the first elder walked over and said in a deep voice, "All right, you guys are already a few thousand years old. Aren't you afraid of being laughed at by the people below?" Hearing this, the sixth elder and the seventh elder snorted coldly, and the other elders' faces were also ashen. The first elder said with a smile, "We will soon know whether that little guy can comprehend the power that is close to the Tao. Why are you quarreling here? Let me see what that kid is capable of. I'll bet with you." Sixth elder, seventh elder, when the two of you lose, don't deny it. Many elders sneered. The two elders shouted coldly, "Let's bet with poison, who's afraid of who?" When the first elder saw the elders behind him quarreling again, he shook his head and ignored them. His gaze scanned the surroundings. He wondered to what extent that little fellow's strength had grown to. He had heard about the previous incident, but he didn't see it with his own eyes, so he didn't believe it completely. Below, the ancient arena was emitting an unparalleled light, and there were countless formations around the arena, which were divided into 5 areas. Each area had clouds formed by formations, floating in the clouds for the elders and disciples to observe. The 4 peaks occupied 4 areas, and the last area was reserved for the main hall of the House of Prodigies. Apart from the 4 peaks, there were other elders and experts in the House of Prodigies. They didn't interfere with the matters of the 4 peaks, but were above the 4 peaks, leading the entire House of Prodigies. It was said that even the House of Prodigies would participate in this event. The geniuses participating in the competition were extremely excited. If they were chosen by the House of Prodigies and were accepted as a disciple, they would soar to the sky. Therefore, everyone wanted to perform well. The elders and genius spectators of the 4 peaks had arrived. The geniuses participating in the competition also came, a total of 40 people. They were the top 10 of the 4 peaks. Yi Fei, Xueling, and the others from the Full Moon Peak had arrived, each of them emitting a sharp aura. Buzz. A monstrous demonic aura rolled in, turning into a peerless demon king that descended from the sky. A black demonic figure walked out from it. Such a terrifying demonic aura. It's the Black Demon. Chapter 3081. This Hayamo was incredible. He was able to come out of the abyss, which meant that he had become extremely powerful. Everyone looked down at the demon-like figure and exclaimed in surprise. After Hayamo arrived, he glanced at Yi Fei and the others and snorted coldly. Xueling snorted and Yi Fei looked solemn. However, when they sensed Hayamo's aura, they sighed helplessly. The difference was too great. Hayamo's aura made their hair stand on end. This was only the aura that Hayamo had released. If he hadn't used his trump card yet, they wouldn't have been able to resist him. Hayamo was already so terrifying. They wondered how strong Huangfu Badian and Lin Xian had become. Yi Fei, Xueling, and the others were looking forward to it. "Look, Mo Tian is here." Another exclamation was heard. On the horizon, a man in silver armor flew over. He looked extraordinary and his aura wasn't any weaker than Hayamo's. In fact, he was even stronger. Mo Tian ranked second in the Divine Strategies Peak. The moment he appeared, the martial artists on the Divine Strategies Peak screamed and cheered. Hayamo turned to look at the man in silver armor and snorted coldly. Demonic aura surged from his body and his eyes were filled with hostility. Mo Tian also looked at Hayamo, but he soon retracted his gaze and looked to the side. After Mo Tian, a few more figures quickly descended. They were all top prodigies who were participating in the competition. Among them, there was a woman who was very eye-catching. She was dressed in red and a sea of blood surged around her. She looked like an Azura as she descended from the sky. Her powerful killing intent made the faces of the prodigies turn pale. Who is this beauty? Why does she look so terrifying? Some of the newcomers felt their scalps go numb. Lower your voice. She is Shui Jiyu. She is very violent and will kill you if she doesn't agree with you. Don't let her hear you. She is the second in the exquisite peak, Shui Jiyu. Everyone was shocked. It was said that this woman was very terrifying and cultivated the Tao of slaughter. After Shui Jiyu arrived, she looked at Hayamo and Mo Tian with a smile on her face. The sea of blood around her rumbled and occupied a large area by itself. Damn it, this woman. Hayamo's face was gloomy. Although his body was surging with demonic aura, he felt that the blood in his body was being affected by the sea of blood. Mo Tian frowned as well. He was also affected by the blood sea. With a cold snort, the armor on his body shone even brighter. The 3 of them stood there. Even though they had yet to make a move, their auras were already clashing with one another. The surrounding geniuses retreated hastily, their faces pale. Damn it, these top-notch experts are too terrifying. That's right, we're no match for him. Yi Fei, Xueling, and the others shook their heads and smiled bitterly. All of a sudden, the starlight in the sky flickered, blocking the terrifying sea of blood. A man descended from the sky. His aura was extraordinary, as if he was a supreme king descending upon the earth. Such a domineering aura. Wuxia. It was Wuxia, ranked second in the Misty Peak. This man carried with him an unparalleled domineering aura as he forcefully descended, breaking through the sea of blood. Shui Jiyu's eyes erupted with a blood-red light as she stared at this figure. Interesting, I didn't expect your strength to increase so much. I'll have to experience it later. Shui Jianhua spoke, making everyone feel dizzy as if they couldn't endure this slaughter. However, Wuxia wasn't affected at all. He displayed the domineering aura of heaven and earth and stood with his hands behind his back, looking down at the world. The surrounding geniuses on the clouds were all extremely excited. The elders were also excited. These days, the heavenly sects had already started to go against each other. The smell of gunpowder had already filled the air before the battle. When the time comes, the battle would definitely be exciting. Almost everyone was here except for the top of the 4 peaks. That's right, Lin Xin wasn't here either. Almost everyone else was here. That's right, more than 30 geniuses had already arrived. They gathered together and discussed or stood alone. Their auras were awe-inspiring. In short, they were all waiting. At this moment, a saber light streaked across the sky, and a majestic man descended below. Huangfu Badian was here. Someone cried out in alarm and everyone turned to look at the source of the cry. The dancers of the Full Moon Peak screamed. Huangfu Badian was the top of the Full Moon Peak. They wondered how much his strength had increased this time. Was he here? Black Demon snorted. He clenched his fists. Mo Tian and Shui Jiyue also turned their heads. Only Wuxia snorted, but he also glanced to the side. The person who had arrived was Huangfu Badian. He was wearing a long robe and carrying a saber on his back. His face was as sharp as a knife, and there was no expression on his face. After he arrived, his gaze swept across the 30 geniuses. Everyone felt their bodies tense as if they had been cut by a saber. In the end, his gaze stopped on one person, and that was Wuxia. This guy is arrogant. How dare he ignore me? Shui Jiyue raised her blood-red eyebrows slightly, and a cruel smile appeared on her face. Mo Tian didn't say anything, but he also frowned. Black Demon was indeed trembling with anger. Damn it, he was also ignored. Huangfu Badian, don't be so arrogant. I'll let you know how powerful I am during the battle later. Black Demon was going crazy. I can feel that your 9-layered thunder saber has improved again, but you're still no match for me. Wuxia still stood proudly with his hands behind his back. It's useless to argue. Let's fight on the stage later. Huangfu Badian said coldly. Next, the geniuses didn't say anything and continued to wait patiently. They were waiting for the remaining 3 geniuses. Soon Han Fei also arrived. Han Fei was wearing a purple battle armor. He looked like a god descending from the sky. As soon as he arrived, he attracted the attention of countless people. This time, even Wuxia couldn't remain calm, and a domineering aura burst out from his eyes. Shui Jiyue, Black Demon, Huangfu Badian, and the others were the same. The surrounding people were excited and screamed. Han Fei was the first in the Divine Tactics Peak and the third in the Extraordinary Scholar Manor. He was very powerful. Han Fei's arrival caused countless people to scream. His gaze swept over everyone in the surroundings and quickly retracted. He didn't even look at Wuxia for too long. But between heaven and earth, colorful clouds danced, and a peerless woman descended from the sky. Yulinglong. Everyone screamed and many people's eyes turned red. She's so beautiful. Everyone says that Jianghu is the first beauty, but I think Yulinglong is more charming. Lower your voice. How dare you have designs on Yulinglong? She's second only to the North Demon. Indeed, not only was Yulinglong beautiful, but she was also very powerful. She was the second in the Extraordinary Scholar Manor, second only to the North Demon. Yulinglong's arrival made Han Fei feel like he was facing a great enemy. Yulinglong was much calmer. She stood there like a fairy, attracting countless gazes. Boom. But soon, everyone's gaze moved away from her and looked into the distance. Chapter 3082. This time it was a tall and slender man with a face as white as a demon's. He was unbelievably handsome. Northern Beast. Everyone exclaimed, and the elders looked solemn. Northern Beast was the #1 of the Extraordinary Beast Mansion. He had the 1000-beast body and was extremely powerful. Suppressing all the heroes, no one was his match. Northern Beast looked calm as he walked in the air. Beside him was a girl in green. She was unparalleled in this world. She was his younger sister, Jianghu. The two of them were as light as a feather, descending like smoke. You're here. Yu Linglong opened her red lips and said in a pleasant voice. Han Fei's eyes were like a purple lamp that burned fiercely. Huangfu Baidian, Jun Wuya, and the others stared at the figure. The person in front of them was like a huge mountain, blocking their path and forcing them to look up at him. Northern Beast looked at the crowd with a smile and nodded slightly. His gaze did not change. His demeanor showed that he didn't care about anyone at all. Jianghu, who was beside him, looked around with her big black eyes as if she was looking for someone. That arrogant guy really didn't come. I knew it. In the crowd there was a cute girl. She looked anxious and muttered in a low voice. Why isn't Big Brother Lin Xian here yet? The competition is about to start. That guy isn't here yet. Northern Beast looked around and said indifferently. His words attracted everyone's attention. Who wasn't here yet? The number one of the four peaks had already arrived. No, there was still one person who wasn't here. It was Lin Xian. Lin Xian wasn't here yet. There was a sudden clap of thunder and everyone was in an uproar. They looked around carefully but didn't find Lin Xian's figure. Why wasn't that guy here yet? Was he still in seclusion? That guy couldn't be, right? He would miss the competition if he didn't come. Huangfu Baitian's eyes flickered, but he did not speak. Shui Yuetian also sneered. This guy was really arrogant. He actually dared to come later than Northern Beast. Jun Wuya snorted coldly. Han Fei didn't say anything but Yu Linglong said indifferently. She had heard that young Master Lin had fought with the Heavenly Clouds mansion a few months ago and had even defeated the Poison King. I wonder how high his strength is. As soon as these words were spoken, the surrounding people were in an uproar and began to discuss spiritedly. Jun Wuya and the others sneered. They did not believe in such a legend. Who was the Poison King? They knew very well that Lin Xian couldn't beat him. What a joke. Heimo's expression was cold. This reckless brat was really courting death. While everyone was discussing and waiting, a red-robed figure appeared in the sky and quickly walked over. Lin Xian was here. Everyone cried out in surprise, and the elders also turned their heads to look. Lin Xian was dressed in red, and his expression was calm. He walked over. There was no light on his body, nor was there any terrifying aura. He was just like an ordinary handsome boy next door. Beside him, the dark red dragon was baring its fangs and brandishing its claws. Whoosh! Lin Xian's speed was very fast. Using ground shrink, he arrived at the edge of the stage in a few steps. He fell behind and said with a smile, I'm not too late, right? Damn brat, you finally came out. I thought you didn't dare to come. Demonic chi suddenly erupted from Heimo's body as he stared at the figure in front of him. Dugu Jian's eyes were also like sharp blades as he looked over. At this moment, Yu Linglong, Han Fei, Jun Wuya, Shui Jiyue, and the others all looked over. The North Demon also looked over. Countless geniuses' gazes were all gathered on Lin Xian. The elders all sucked in a breath of cold air. Being watched by so many top geniuses was a lot of pressure. Indeed, just this pressure alone was enough to crush an invincible king. Even a powerful invincible king would have to use all his strength to deal with it. However, what puzzled them was that Lin Xian was still expressionless. There was no aura fluctuation coming from his body. Just like that, he treated it calmly. When all the gazes landed on him, they quickly dissipated without a trace. Everyone was shocked and couldn't believe it. Originally, they wanted to show Lin Xian who was stronger than them. After all, they were all top geniuses, but he had arrived later than the North Demon. He was too arrogant. This made them feel unhappy. However, they didn't expect that their gazes and auras would have no effect at all. Deliberately mystifying. Jun Wuya snorted coldly. Yu Linglong frowned. What a mysterious brat. I wonder how strong he is. I can't see through him. Purple light flashed in Han Fei's eyes as he frowned. The North Demon kept looking. Lin Xian said with a smile, What's so special about the moon-gazing wordless steel? I wonder how much young Master Lin has comprehended? Lin Xian said with a smile, You will know when the time comes. He wouldn't reveal his trump card in advance. Don't be so cocky. The moon-gazing wordless steel is so difficult. How can you comprehend it in a few months? Even if I give you 100 years, you will only be a beginner. You won't be able to comprehend it now. Don't worry, you are definitely not my brother's match. Jianghu said angrily as she waved her small fists. Is that so? Do you dare to make a bet with me? Lin Xian said with a smile as he looked at the other party. Hearing this, Jianghu's face fell. She was very unhappy. Last time the other party used her as a wager. Although he won in the end, Jianghu lost many good things. Among them were several king herbs and mutated divine crystals. Every time Jianghu thought about it, she would go crazy with anger. Brother, he always bullies me. When I see him later, I will beat him up. She grabbed the North Demon's clothes and said coquettishly, Brother Lin Xian. In the distance, Xin Jingqiu also ran over and threw herself into Lin Xian's arms. I missed you so much. Aren't I here now? Ling Xian said with a smile. How is your cultivation? How confident are you this time? Don't worry, Brother Lin Xian. Qiu is very confident this time. Everyone was discussing. Above the clouds, the elders took a deep breath because they knew that the competition was about to begin. In the most central area, a group of people walked out. Every one of them was incomparably powerful and carried with them endless laws. When these people appeared, the wind and clouds changed. The sounds from all directions disappeared and everyone looked over. Lin Xian also looked over. He took a deep breath and clenched his fists. There was a trace of excitement in his eyes. Have the saints come out? These people were the peak masters of the 4 peaks. In addition, there were the top experts, supreme elders, and even the mansion master of the extraordinary warrior manor. These people were the true peerless experts. The mansion master of the extraordinary warrior manor was an old man. His face was white and he had a sage-like demeanor. There was a mysterious aura around his body. Even the peak masters of the 4 peaks were standing behind him. One could imagine how terrifying the mansion master's strength was. Behind him were the peak masters of the 4 peaks. Each of them had divine chains of laws on their bodies. They were incomparably powerful. Chapter 3083. The mansion master's gaze swept across all directions. Everyone felt their hearts tremble as if they had been pierced through. However, that feeling quickly disappeared. An old and loud voice sounded from the front. Since everyone is here, let's begin. Every competition held by the House of Prodigy is to encourage and select geniuses. This time I hope you will give it your all. If you win, the House of Prodigy will not treat you badly. Now let's begin. As the mansion master's voice fell, everyone cheered again. The 4 peak masters looked at each other and flew into the sky. They landed in their respective areas and sat cross-legged on the clouds. The mansion master and the elders also sat in the center of the clouds. At that moment, a middle-aged man walked out. He had a high status and was one of the deputy mansion masters. This time he was the host of the competition. As soon as he came up, he announced some rules and rewards. Different rankings led to different rewards. It was roughly divided into 3 levels. Top 3, top 10, and after the top 10. The rewards for the top 3 were the best. Other than various treasures and resources, they could go to the saint's former residence to comprehend. As soon as the news came out, those prodigies were extremely excited. At their level, other than increasing their cultivation, they were basically considering to reach the saint realm. To reach the saint realm, one must first comprehend the heaven and earth. However, the laws of heaven and earth were not that easy to comprehend. Other than some top prodigies who were qualified to comprehend the divine monument, the others did not have much chance. Moreover, even if they had the chance, it would be difficult for them to comprehend at their current level. But now, if they could go to the saint's former residence to comprehend, it would definitely be beneficial for them to comprehend the laws of heaven and earth. Therefore, even Lin Xian was excited after hearing it. The reward for the first place was even more tempting. Other than going to the saint's former residence, one could also go to the Cliff of Enlightenment. The Cliff of Enlightenment was a very magical place. It was said that at least 10 saints had comprehended there. Most importantly, rumors had it that a martial monarch had stayed there for a day before leaving. Even if a great emperor only stayed there for a day, its value was far above the saint's former residence. It could be said that the Cliff of Enlightenment was the real holy land of martial arts. Therefore, when they heard about the reward for the first place, everyone was as if they had been injected with chicken blood. Those elders' eyes were also red. God, the House of Prodigy even took out the Cliff of Enlightenment as a reward? That was really generous. From the looks of it, they wanted to increase the speed of entering the ancient starry sky path. The elders discussed spiritedly while the geniuses screamed excitedly. The eyes of the northern beast, Yu Linglong Han Fei Jun Wuya Huangfu Baidian, and the others widened. Shui Jiu Mo Tian Black Demon, and the others were trembling with excitement. Was the Enlightenment Cliff finally going to open? The North Demon's eyes shone with a cold light. He had heard of this place a long time ago, but he never had the chance to go in. He did not expect that this time the Prodigy Manor actually gave out such a reward. This was great, he could finally enter the Cliff of Enlightenment. The North Demon was very confident. In his opinion, although these people were geniuses, none of them could defeat him. In the end, the first place was still his. Yu Linglong and Han Fei's eyes flickered with a cold light. They were already in the second and third year. If they were to try their luck now, they might really be able to get first place. When the time came, he would go to the Enlightenment Cliff to meditate. If he could really comprehend a thing or two, then he would really soar to the heavens. Shui Jiwa Mo Tian and the others knew that they had no hope of getting first place. However, they were extremely interested in the top 3. Although they could not go to the Enlightenment Cliff, it would be great if they could go to the sage's old residence. Everyone had confirmed their target. Lin Xian's side was also alarmed. The Enlightenment Cliff, the place where the great emperor once stayed? He was too excited. The sage's old residence had already shocked him. After all, he had gained a lot in the past few months. He naturally knew how precious the sage's remains were. He did not expect that there would be a great emperor's remains. This was 10 times or even 100 times more precious than the sage's remains. He must comprehend it. First place? Lin Xian's eyes shone with a cold light. North Demon, let me see what you're capable of. The rules of the competition were simple. They would draw lots and the competition would be divided into several rounds. Not everyone would fight. There would be a certain amount of luck involved. Perhaps some who were not the strongest could still make it to the finals. It seemed a little unfair, but it was the fairest. After all, there were many experts in the world. However, only one person could become the great emperor in the end. Other than talent, luck was also very important. In fact, possession was also an important factor. Back then, there was a person who shocked the ancients and dazzled the contemporaries. He was extremely powerful and had reached an unbelievable level. He was most likely to become the great emperor. However, he was born at the wrong time. When he rose, it was when the great emperor had lost 3,000 years. At that time he could not prove his Tao. In the end, the person who shocked the ancients and dazzled the contemporaries did not become the great emperor. Therefore, luck was also a part of one's strength. A very important part. The 40 sky prides participating in the competition quickly drew lots. Those who drew the same number would become opponents and fight in the arena. I'm number 1. Jianghu exclaimed. What, Jianghu is number 1? Could it be that she has to fight? Hearing this, the surrounding elders of the heavenly sect began to discuss. Those young men seemed to have been injected with chicken blood. Was Jianghu going to take action? She's my goddess. Goddess Jianghu, you must win. You must make it to the finals. That's for sure. Goddess Jianghu is the great beauty of our House of Wonders. Moreover, her brother is the North Demon. Jianghu is very talented and has the power of bloodline. Her strength is definitely not bad. Moreover, no matter who she meets in the first round, she has to give face to the North Demon. Don't worry, Jianghu will definitely have no problems in this round. Everyone had the same thought. At the same time, they were very curious about who would be the first person to fight Jianghu. Jianghu's small face was filled with excitement. Her beautiful big eyes were shining. She could not wait any longer. She went directly to the arena. Hurry up, my opponent, come on. Everyone lowered their heads. Those who were ranked at the bottom were praying in their hearts that they would not fight Jianghu. This was because Jianghu was going to win this match. Fortunately, they did not have number 1 in their hands. Huangfu Baidian, Heimo Junwia, and the others also looked and found that they did not have number 1 either. Just as everyone was checking, a figure walked past them and headed towards the battle platform. This scene directly attracted the attention of the others. Countless eyes looked at the figure. What? It's him. Chapter 3084. Heimo snorted and sneered. Shui Jiu narrowed her eyes. Interesting. This is going to be fun. Damn you, why is it you? No, this draw doesn't count. We have to do it again. On the stage, Jianghu was originally very happy. However, when she saw her opponent, her little face fell and she was about to cry. Heavens, why is it him? Is my luck that bad? Lin Xian, you bastard. Hurry up and get back to where you came from. Jianghu stomped her feet in anger. That's right, her first opponent was Lin Xian. To be honest, Lin Xian was also surprised. He didn't expect that he would have to fight with this little girl in the first round. He shook his head and didn't care. Instead, he walked onto the stage. The others were excited. It's Lin Xian. The first round is actually him. This is going to be fun. Do you think Lin Xian will go easy on him in the first round? Give the North Demon some face? When he fights with the North Demon might go easy on him. It's possible. Not only Lin Xian, almost everyone had to give the North Demon some face. After all, he was the #1 in the House of Prodigy. Who would dare to disobey? However, Jianghu didn't think so, because she felt that this guy would definitely not give her face. She knew Lin Xian very well. Sure enough, Lin Xian said, "I don't want to hurt you. Why don't you take the initiative to admit defeat?" When those words came out, everyone was in an uproar. The corners of the elders' mouths twitched. Oh heavens, what did I just hear? Lin Xian actually wants Jianghu to admit defeat. He doesn't plan to give the North Demon some face? He's going to cause trouble? Is he provoking the North Demon? Exclamations sounded one after another. The people of the Full Moon Peak were extremely nervous. When Yu Linglong saw this scene, she glanced at the North Demon and laughed softly. Looks like someone doesn't want to give you face. What's this kid doing? He's courting death. Mo Tian also frowned. The North Demon was incomparably calm. All of this was within his expectations. Lin Xian was no ordinary prodigy. He was a top prodigy who had comprehended the Moongazer steel and was the successor of the Great Dragon. Such peerless geniuses all had their own pride. How could they take the initiative to go easy on him? However, he was not worried. He was still very confident in his sister. It would not be easy for Lin Xian to win against his sister. You brat, you're so arrogant. You want me to admit defeat? No way. In the arena, Qing Wuqi's face was ice cold. This despicable fellow, she really wanted to go up and bite him. You are no match for me. Lin Xian shook his head. It was indeed so. A few months ago he could easily defeat Jianghu. Not to mention now, his strength had greatly improved. Jianghu shouted, "Boy, don't underestimate me. My current strength is much stronger than it was a few months ago. Today I'll let you experience it." Jianghu's temperament had also changed. 2 rays of light like thunder shot out from her beautiful eyes, shattering the surrounding sky. The aura on her body became terrifying. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. They knew that this beautiful girl was not simple. She was a true Heaven's Pride expert. Whoosh! Jianghu's figure changed. Her speed was unbelievably fast. She quickly dashed toward Lin Xian. A short sword appeared in her hand. It was as red as blood. She slashed down in the air. A bloody light burst out, bringing with it a powerful aura. It shattered the void. In an instant, thousands of sword lights were slashed out. They were densely packed and formed a sea of sword chi. However, Jianghu's face was incomparably cold. She did not relax at all. Because Lin Xian's speed was faster. His figure wandered in the sky full of sword chi as if he was taking a stroll. Not a single sword chi hit him. Damn guy, what's the point of dodging? Attack if you have the ability. Jianghu snorted, and the aura in her hand became even sharper. Lin Xian sighed. Alright, I won't hold back then. Speaking of this, the aura on his body also changed. The void that was originally fluctuating became even more shattered. He was like a celestial demon. His eyes shone with a piercing light. Runes appeared in his hand one after another. Still. With a low shout, Lin Xian waved his arm. The runes in the sky intertwined to form a formation and directly shrouded Jianghu. Jianghu was fixed in midair. She could not exert any strength. It was as if she was frozen. Damn guy, what did you do to me? Jianghu screamed. Lin Xian did not speak. With a smile, he walked forward. Then he gently picked up Jianghu and walked to a place further away. This scene made everyone exclaim. Many prodigies even screamed. Damn guy, let go of Jianghu. Let go of our goddess. How dare you blaspheme our goddess? I'll fight you to the death. There was no choice. Jianghu was the goddess in the hearts of these prodigies. She was the lover of their dreams. How could they tolerate this? Even Mo Tian and the others frowned. Jun Wuya even shouted coldly. His eyes shone with a piercing light. You're courting death. He was also pursuing Jianghu, but he had not succeeded. However, Jun Wuya thought that in the entire extraordinary warrior mansion except for Northern Yao, he did not care about anyone else. Northern Yao was Jianghu's brother, so he would not compete with him. In other words, Jianghu would choose him if she had a choice. But now, Jianghu was being carried by another man. Jun Wuya could not tolerate this. Even Northern Yao frowned slightly with a look of surprise. Then he shook his head. He already knew what Lin Xian wanted to do. However, he was surprised. Did Jianghu have no strength to resist? Jianghu naturally knew this. She screamed, Damn guy, put me down. I want to fight you to the death. It's useless. You can't beat me. Seeing that we fought side by side against the Heavenly Clouds mansion a few months ago, I won't hurt you. Lin Xian said as he walked toward the arena. He wanted to throw Jianghu out of the arena directly. This way he could win the competition without hurting Jianghu. Jianghu was naturally unwilling. She did not get along with Lin Xian. Now that she was being carried by him, she wanted to die. As a proud princess, when had she ever been close to other men? Not to mention being carried in public. Break. Jianghu shouted coldly. She unleashed her bloodline power and burst out with a powerful force to break the seal. However, she found that she could not use her bloodline power at all. She could only watch helplessly. Not long after, Lin Xian came to the edge of the arena and gently put Jianghu down. Then, he turned his head to look at the referee elder in the sky and asked in a deep voice, "Elder, can you announce the result?" The referee elder in the sky was also stunned. To be honest, he had never seen such a competition in all his years of life. Chapter 3085. Lin Xian won the first round and got off to a good start. Logically speaking, the people of Full Moon Peak should be excited. However, those geniuses of Full Moon Peak had very strange expressions. Many of their faces even darkened. Although Lin Xian is our Full Moon Peak's genius, why do I want to beat him up so much? Me too. How dare he treat my goddess Jianghu like this? I won't let him off. If Full Moon Peak was like this, the other peaks were even more so. Especially the people of Ethereal Peak, they were about to go crazy. Murderous aura shot into the sky. Countless eyes turned into rainbows, staring at Lin Xian. Damn kid, I'll kill you. I'll definitely kill you. Fight me if you have the ability. Countless roars turned into thunder, shattering the 9 heavens and 10 earths. Lin Xian didn't care at all because these people weren't his match. They didn't even have the qualifications to enter the arena. However, in the next moment he frowned. He noticed that in the surrounding crowd, there were a few cold gazes. One of them was even more terrifying, as if it turned into the domineering aura of heaven and earth, surging towards him. Lin Xian felt this domineering aura and turned his head. Their gazes collided in the air. Wuxia. He frowned slightly. Although he hadn't seen him before, he had heard of him before. Wuxia cultivated the domineering aura of heaven and earth, and walked the path of an earth sovereign. This guy should be a prince of the Divine Wind Empire. He also knew a little about Wuxia's origin. Of course, Wuxia wasn't a prince of this generation. Otherwise, Lin Xian would have known him long ago. He should be a prince from a few hundred years ago. Kid, I won't let you off. You'd better pray that you don't meet me. Otherwise, I'll make you regret everything you've done today. Wuxia's voice was cold, as if he was the king of the mortal world, able to judge everything. Lin Xian shrugged indifferently. He was ready to learn. After saying this, he walked down the arena. Yifei, Xueling, and the rest looked at Lin Xian with strange gazes. Only Shen Jingqiu said with a smile, "Brother Lin Xian is so gentle." Gentle? Everyone around them didn't know whether to laugh or cry at Shen Jingqiu's words. The first match ended just like that. But soon, the second and third matches began one after another. Everyone stepped onto the stage and displayed their formidable strength. Lin Xian was also watching from the side. It had to be said that these few months of hard work had allowed the strength of these geniuses to improve by leaps and bounds. Many of them had become even stronger than before. The Northern Goblin went up. Amidst a series of exclamations, the Northern Goblin walked forward. His opponent, however, had a gloomy look on his face. He was a genius from the Divine Strategy Peak and was ranked 5th on the Divine Strategy Peak. However, he was no match for the North Demon. Hence, when he stepped onto the arena, he shook his head and said, "I admit defeat." The speed at which this match ended was even faster than Lin Xian and Jianghu. Did he admit defeat? Everyone looked as if they already knew. After all, apart from Yu Linglong, Han Fei, and a few others who could contend against the North Demon, the others were simply no match for him. Admitting defeat was a very normal thing. Han Fei shook his head. His opponent was too weak. He couldn't tell how strong the North Demon was. Perhaps only the top 5 geniuses could make the North Demon take them seriously. Yu Linglong, who was standing at the side, also sighed. Soon they all went up one after another. Yu Linglong and Han Fei were also incomparably powerful. They killed their opponents in one move. Wuxia and Huangfu Baidian also killed their opponents in one move. This made everyone exclaim in surprise. As expected of the top 5 geniuses, they were simply too powerful. Perhaps the top 3 would emerge from these 5 geniuses. Boom, boom, boom. On the arena, a demon-like person walked up. His demonic aura was monstrous and enveloped the entire area. It was the Black Demon. His opponent was also extremely extraordinary. He was the third ranked on the Divine Strategy peak Chuishi. When the two of them stepped onto the arena, countless people exclaimed in surprise. Both of them were super experts. It would definitely be a fierce battle for them to meet in advance. Everyone became excited. However, the outcome was out of everyone's expectations. 10 moves, only 10 moves. The Black Demon defeated Chuishi in just 10 moves. Everyone was shocked. The elders were also surprised. This Black Demon was incredible. His strength had increased so quickly. That's right. Last time, Chuishi's ranking was about the same as his. Even if the two of them were to fight, it would take a few hundred moves. Who would have thought that the Black Demon would win in just 10 moves? This guy must have encountered an incredible fortuitous encounter when he fell into the abyss. What an interesting guy. No wonder he was so arrogant. Shui Jiu sneered. Mo Tian's expression was solemn. On the other side, a girl named Chu Ling's eyes flickered. She was the third-ranked genius of the Misty Peak. The three of them felt the threat from the Black Demon. Han Fei, Jun Wuya, Yu Linglong and the rest did not care. Although the Black Demon was strong, they did not take him seriously. After defeating his opponent, the Black Demon stopped Lin Xian and Huangfu Baidian who were below the arena. He sneered. Kid, just you wait. I will let you know how powerful I am. This time, I will trample you under my feet. You are no match for me. Lin Xian shook his head slightly. He did not care. This scene made the Black Demon vomit blood. Don't be so arrogant. I will let you know how powerful I am. He walked down the arena with a cold face. After that, Shui Jiu, Mo Tian and the rest also displayed their powerful strength. They were not weaker than the Black Demon. Among them there were two people who surprised everyone. These two people were like Lin Xian. They were both newcomers and peerless beauties. One of them was Xin Jingqiu. Xin Jingqiu was now at the Linglong Peak. She had also participated in this competition. Her strength had increased very quickly. The purple aura around her body was very hazy and mysterious. She defeated her opponent, causing countless people to exclaim in admiration. The elders were also surprised. If I remember correctly, this little girl should be a spiritual body, right? Not bad. No wonder her cultivation strength increased so quickly. She has already reached the peak, right? The Grand Elder was also surprised. When everyone sensed Xin Jingqiu's cultivation, they were all stunned. 9-star peak. This level of cultivation was simply too shocking. One had to know that the North Demon Han Fei and the others were only at the peak of the 9-star peak. They were still a distance away from the peak. However, Xin Jingqiu had actually reached the peak of the 9-star peak. Moreover, she was so young. Lin Xian was also surprised. He had not checked it before. Now that he saw it, he was extremely surprised. He was only at the middle stage of the 9-star peak. Xin Jingqiu's cultivation had far surpassed his. Beside him, the dark red divine dragon said, "Kid, don't be surprised. The specialty of a spiritual body is that it cultivates quickly." Previously, this little girl's cultivation had always been ahead of the other prodigies. It could be said that she was the first batch to become a 9-star king. It was normal for her to enter the peak of the 9-star peak in advance. The others were amazed and envious. Although cultivation was not the final factor that determined a person's strength, it was the most important factor. Chapter 3086. Of course that might not be the case. After all, secret techniques, divine abilities, bloodlines, fortuitous encounters, cultivation techniques, weapons, and so on could all affect one's final combat strength. Otherwise, Lin Xian and the others wouldn't have been able to kill a 9-star king when they were only 8-star kings. Therefore, although Xin Jingqiu was now at the peak of 9-star, she was still no match for the North Demon. However, that might not be the case in the future. If Xin Jingqiu broke through to the half-step saint or saint realm in advance, she could suppress these prodigies with her cultivation level alone. Everyone felt their scalps go numb at the thought. They didn't expect Xin Jingqiu to have such terrifying potential. The eyes of the 4 peak masters were also shining. The supreme elders were also discussing in low voices. Even the mansion master was a little interested. It was indeed a golden age. The divine 9-yang body, myriad demon body, and spirit body had all appeared. Would this little girl be able to meet people from the spirit tribe in the future? If she could, her achievements would be limitless. Perhaps she could obtain that item. At this point, the old mansion master's eyes flashed with a flash of disillusionment. Apart from Xin Jingqiu, there was another young woman who attracted everyone's attention. Even Lin Xian was paying close attention. The woman in the arena was called Zhong Lingxiu. She was a newcomer from the Moon Gaze Peak. Zhong Lingxiu was dressed in plain clothes. Beside her was a green lotus that swayed gently. The violent power made her opponent vomit blood. This woman was so mysterious. They couldn't see through her. Han Fei frowned. Yu Linglong also nodded. Interesting. It was getting more and more interesting. The North Demon's eyes were also solemn, as if he wanted to see through everything. The elders were also surprised. Could this green lotus have something to do with that item? They thought of a possibility, but they soon shook their heads. The 4 Peak Masters were also shocked. The Moongaze Peak Master was especially happy. He didn't expect there to be such a prodigy apart from Lin Xian. In the past, Zhong Lingxiu was only ranked 10th. Although she was stunning, Lin Xian was ahead of her. Moreover, she didn't have the chance to comprehend the Moongaze wordless steel. Therefore, although everyone was shocked at that time, they quickly forgot about it. But now, Zhong Lingxiu once again displayed formidable strength, directly attracting everyone's attention. Manor Lord, is that green lotus related to that thing? Related to that person? A Grand Elder asked from the side. The Mansion Lord's eyes flickered and he shook his head slightly. That didn't seem to be the case. However, he remembered that it was something else. If that was the case, then the ancient path of the starry sky would be really interesting. At that time, it would definitely be very exciting. Hearing the Valley Master's words, the surrounding Grand Elders were all astonished. What could be praised by the Valley Master like this? Could it be even more terrifying than the Dragon Sword Soul, the spiritual body, the holy body, and the infinite demon body? One had to know that these physiques were all famous peerless physiques in the ancient times. Once they were mastered, they could sweep through the world and shock the world. If it really was her, then she would definitely pose a threat to Lin Xian, the North Demon, and the others. In the future, she would probably be able to suppress Lin Xian, the North Demon, and the others. Not to mention these young fellows, even the peerless experts and geniuses who had passed many stages on the ancient path of the starry sky would have a headache and might even be overtaken by her. The Mansion Lord's words shocked everyone. Many of the Grand Elders couldn't believe that Zhong Lingxiu had such potential. The intense battles made everyone's blood boil. Lin Xian fought a few times and fought his way into the finals. Shen Jingqiu, Zhong Lingxiu, the Black Demon, and the others also fought their way into the finals. The top geniuses of the 4 Peaks also entered the finals. After that, everyone became even more excited. Although the first few battles were exciting, the top geniuses like the North Demon and Yu Linglong didn't use their full strength at all. They usually defeated their opponents with a single move. This made them feel unsatisfied. In the finals, these top geniuses would also fight. At that time, it would be a truly exciting battle. The finals were still drawn and Lin Xian still drew lot number 1. First to fight? Lin Xian narrowed his eyes and came to the arena. I wonder who my opponent is. Kid, I didn't expect it to be you. The heavens are helping me. How dare you bully Jianghu? I'll teach you a good lesson later. A dignified voice resounded. Then a domineering figure walked up. Jun Wuya. The first battle was between Lin Xian and Jun Wuya. The surrounding people screamed like crazy. Even many of the Grand Elders stood up, their faces filled with excitement. Although they knew that the finals would be exciting, they didn't expect it to be so intense. Right off the bat, the 2 top geniuses were exchanging blows with one another. Lin Xian, second place of the moon-gazing peak, comprehending the moon-gazing wordless steel. He was a once-in-10,000 years genius. Jun Wuya was equally terrifying. He was ranked 4th in the House of Prodigy. He was ranked higher than Huangfu Beidian. His domineering aura was incomparably terrifying. Recently, it was said that he had a new breakthrough while comprehending the Misty Steel. They were the top geniuses. Everyone was looking forward to the battle between the 2 geniuses. Even the peak leaders of the 4 Peaks and the Supreme Elders were looking forward to the outcome. Are they going to fight in advance? Let's see what this kid is capable of. The Northern Beast's eyes flickered. He was a little angry about Jianghu's incident. However, compared to anger, he was more shocked. He was very clear about Jianghu's strength. However, Lin Xian was able to easily seal Jianghu. It was unbelievable. In the previous few rounds, Lin Xian had easily defeated his opponents. He didn't show his true strength, so the Northern Beast couldn't see it clearly. However, now that he was fighting with Jun Wuya, he should be able to see his full strength. Let's see how strong you are, the successor of the Great Dragon. The Northern Beast was looking forward to it. Yu Linglong, Han Fei, and the others were also watching with rapt attention. What? You want to stand up for Jianghu? Let's see if you have the ability to do so. Lin Xian was not afraid. He knew that his opponent was ranked 4th and was very strong. So what? He didn't take him seriously. Good kid, you're really arrogant. Try and take my fist. Jun Wuya shouted angrily. He waved his fist and a domineering aura surged from his body. Sky Tyrant Fist. It seemed that Jun Wuya was really angry. He immediately used the Sky Tyrant Fist. This was a half-step holy grade martial art. Its strength was incomparably terrifying. Indeed, the Sky Tyrant Fist. When it appeared, thunder fell between the heavens and the earth. Everyone's body trembled. Fortunately, at that moment, they were inside the formation and watching from the clouds. Otherwise, just the aftermath of the energy would be enough to injure them. Chapter 3087. Between heaven and earth, a sword light flashed, splitting all the thunder lightning. The terrifying fist was destroyed. The domineering aura was strong, but it wasn't powerful enough. Lin Xian commented indifferently. How arrogant. How can you understand my fist technique? Sky Tyrant Fist, second move. Jun Wuya's face darkened and he attacked again. One had to admit that Jun Wuya was extremely terrifying. His strength had reached the late-stage 9-star king realm, and coupled with a half-saint martial art, it was terrifying to the extreme. There were probably only a few people in the entire extraordinary warrior manor who could defeat him. The monstrous power engulfed Lin Xian. Countless people exclaimed, and the martial artists of the Full Moon Peak were extremely nervous. Jun Wuya was indeed extraordinary. He had reached such a level with the Sky Tyrant Fist. Yes, this domineering aura was enough to make one's soul tremble before the battle. He had suppressed the enemy with his aura even before the battle. Although Lin Xian had destroyed the first move of the Sky Tyrant Fist, the second move and the next few moves would be difficult to deal with. Not necessarily. This kid's strength was not bad and he must have a trump card. Everyone was discussing. In front of them, among the energy in the sky, a golden light flashed and turned into golden thunder lightning. It slashed the heavens and the earth. Buff, buff, buff. Sword Chi formed a golden lotus that bloomed in the sky, breaking the energy in the sky. I've said it before, it's not powerful enough. Lin Xian pointed his sword forward. With a swing of his sword, the sword lotus in the sky quickly expanded, turning into a huge mountain that shrouded the ground. Thousands of sword chi smashed down, piercing through the void, forming a sword rain that completely enveloped Jun Wuya. Get lost. Jun Wuya opened the sky with his hands like a peerless overlord, wanting to tear the sword lotus in the sky apart. Boom, boom, boom. His palms were like the palms of a god, grabbing the terrifying sword lotus in an instant. With a forceful pull, the sword lotus shook violently, but the sword chi hanging down was even more terrifying. Clang, clang, clang. The sword chi in the sky crashed down, and Jun Wuya's domineering aura formed a battle armor that covered him. The sword chi clashed with the battle armor, creating a shocking sound. It's useless, you can't break my domineering aura. Jun Wuya was very confident. But soon he frowned and his expression turned ugly. The sword lotus had completely bloomed, and the power of the sword chi had increased exponentially. Cracks had appeared on his domineering battle armor, and it had shattered with a loud bang. Whoosh! In the face of such a terrifying sword chi, Jun Wuya took half a step back and tilted his body wanting to dodge. However, this sword strike had still managed to cut off a strand of his black hair. In fact, there was even a sword scar on his face. Jun Wuya was injured. Countless people screamed in disbelief. Jun Wuya's body was trembling, and his eyes were burning with rage. How dare you injure me? You have committed a heinous crime. I will let you know my true strength. With a shout, Jun Wuya's aura became terrifying. Sovereign's descent. Surrender. The divine light in his eyes shone brightly, enveloping the entire world. His voice was loud and clear, like the roar of a gigantic spirit god. All the geniuses in the area trembled. Even the faces of the elders changed. Then a terrifying light gushed out from their bodies. As for the other geniuses, they were shrieking. Damn it! Why can't I resist the urge to kneel before him? Even my soul is trembling. What kind of cultivation technique is this? Why is it so strange? The expressions of the people around the arena changed drastically. Their bodies trembled and they couldn't help but want to kneel down. Many people bit the tip of their tongues and frantically retreated. Even Yu Linglong and Han Fei were astonished. The only person that could be considered to be calm was the northern monster. As expected, this kid had made new progress in comprehending the great Tao. The northern devil smiled. He's already using this power at this time? It seems that Jun Wuya wants to end the battle. Yu Linglong and Han Fei's eyes flickered, and their expressions were solemn. When the others heard this, their expressions changed drastically. The path of dominance? That was Jun Wuya's trump card. He had used it so quickly. Would Lin Xian be able to resist it? There were 3,000 great Daos and countless laws. The path of dominance was one of them. Once the path of dominance was used, it was like a supreme king. Everyone would worship him. They wouldn't dare to resist. Although Jun Wuya hadn't truly comprehended the laws of great Tao, he had far surpassed the power of ordinary runes. Therefore, at this moment, under his power, these geniuses all trembled. Lin Xian was the first to be affected. He felt a force pressing down on him, wanting to make him submit to the person in front of him. That force was too strong. It was like a god's hand pressing down on his body. Is this the power that's close to the Tao? Lin Xian's eyes shone with golden light. He also had this kind of power, but he had never felt it before. Now that he felt the other party's domineering power, he was incomparably excited. Submit. Another cold shout. Countless people's souls trembled and their eyelids twitched. Lin Xian's side was also under greater pressure. The power that was close to the Tao was too mysterious and too powerful. Jiao Yang's body emitted millions of rays of light, but he also trembled slightly. This wasn't a direct attack but a different kind of submission. It was a supreme will that directly affected the soul. It's over. Lin Xian is in danger. Yes, this was a power that was close to the Tao. In the entire elite scholar manor, there were no more than 5 young people who had this kind of power. Jun Wuya was one of them. Under this kind of power that was close to the Tao, no one could resist unless Lin Xian also displayed that kind of power. Impossible. Although Jun Wuya was a young genius, he was also a few hundred years old. He had been comprehending the ethereal heavenly steel for a long time, and only then did he comprehend that trace of domineering Tao and obtain this kind of power that was close to the Tao. Although Lin Xian had also comprehended the full moon wordless steel, it had only been a few months. It was impossible for him to succeed. Yes, I heard that he defeated the Poison King with a power that was close to the Tao, but I didn't believe it at all. Everyone was discussing intensely and the elders were also nervous. On the full moon peak side, the great elder's eyes flickered. If you have a power that's close to the Tao, hurry up and use it. He urged in his heart. On the stage, Jun Wuya's divine light shone brightly. He stood with his hands behind his back, like a supreme king overlooking everything. Lin Xian's body emitted golden light, like a sun war god, but he trembled slightly as if he would be defeated at any time. This scene caused countless people to be shocked. But all of a sudden Lin Xian's expression changed. It became sharper and more determined. A loud voice came from his mouth. I, Lin Xian, will not bow to the heavens nor kneel to the earth. I will only respect myself. Accompanied by this voice, the dragon roared in his body. His eyes shone brightly and his body stopped trembling. Rays of sword chi rushed out from his body, turning into a giant dragon that rushed to the 9 heavens. Boom, boom, boom. Heaven and earth were torn apart and the wind whistled. Everyone exclaimed, and the elders also stood up in shock. Chapter 3088. Impossible. How can he block such a power that's close to the Tao? He didn't submit. These people were all stunned, especially the elders of the ethereal peak. They looked as if they had seen a ghost. Almost no one is a match for a power that's close to the Tao. How did that kid block it? No matter how powerful his sword technique is, it's impossible. Is that the power of the dragon sword soul? Jun Wuya was also stunned. His expression became extremely ugly, and his eyes were filled with disbelief. That kid didn't kneel down and submit to me is really beyond my expectations. Dragon sword soul? He gritted his teeth and snorted. Although the dragon sword soul was powerful, it was still inferior to the power that was close to the Tao. Only the Tao is eternal between heaven and earth. If the ruler wants the subject to die, the subject must die. Jun Wuya shouted again. Boom. Countless runes rolled on his body, and his domineering aura covered the entire world. For a moment, everyone trembled again. Many people screamed. Damn it, what's going on? Why do I want to draw my sword and kill myself? Block it. Clang. Some people couldn't help but draw their swords. In the next moment, they threw away their weapons in horror and retreated crazily. Seeing this scene, the elders once again set up the array formation and completely enveloped the disciples who didn't participate in the battle. In the world, only Lin Xian and Jun Wuya were not enveloped by the array formation. It's too terrifying. How can this be? Wang Ji's body trembled. He looked at the long sword on the ground with a face full of horror. At that moment, he had drawn his sword and wanted to stab his own heart. The power of the Tao, that's the power of the Tao. There was also a flying dagger at Yi Fei's fingertips that was very close to his neck. Moreover, he was swept by the aftermath of the power. One could imagine how terrifying the impact would be for Lin Xian since he was the first to bear the brunt of the impact. That was the power that was close to the Tao. It was extremely terrifying. Everyone was terrified and envious. If the power that was close to the Tao was already so terrifying, how powerful would the laws of the Great Path be? If the saints wanted to kill them, they could turn countless invincible kings into ashes with a single sentence. Everyone below the sage level was nothing but an ant. Jun Wuya wasn't a saint, not even a half-saint. However, he had grasped a power that was close to the Tao, and he was completely superior to those invincible kings. Under this force, Lin Xian's hand trembled slightly. He raised the blazing Qilin sword in his hand, wanting to stab himself. Lin Xian was astonished and his eyes lit up. It can actually affect me? As expected of a power that was close to the Tao. However, it was a pity. Lin Xian took a deep breath. The great dragon sword soul within his body roared crazily, and a surge of power flowed into his hand. Instantly, his hand stopped trembling and became as steady as a rock. His hand was steady. How could this be? Everyone was stunned, not daring to believe it. How could such a terrifying power not affect Lin Xian? Damn it, how did he do it? I don't believe it. Black Demon's eyes widened in shock. Just now, he couldn't help but want to attack himself, which made him feel a lingering fear. He knew that in front of Jun Wuya he was no match for him. However, Lin Xian blocked it. Moreover, from the looks of it, he did it effortlessly. He couldn't believe it. Huang Fu Badian was the same. His face was full of shock. Even Yu Linglong and Han Fei's eyes were wide open. The northern monster's eyes flickered. It seemed that Jun Wuya had comprehended a power that was close to the Tao. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to block Jun Wuya's attack. This guy was indeed an opponent worth looking forward to. Lin Xian stabilized his hand and slashed out with his sword. A huge crack appeared in the sky, spreading rapidly as it charged forward. Jun Wuya's pupils shrank. His body swayed and he dodged the sword. Damn it, you're not affected? How could this be? Jun Wuya was the most shocked. Did his domineering Tao lose its effect? This was impossible. Previously, when facing the peak invincible kings, he used his domineering Tao. Those invincible kings had to kneel in front of him and commit suicide. No one could resist. However, his two attacks were ineffective now. Who could tell him? What was going on? Lin Xian's expression was cold. A power that was close to the Tao? It was indeed powerful. However, this was the extent of your domineering Tao. Next, I'll show you my power that's close to the Tao. What did this kid say? He also had a power that was close to the Tao? This was impossible. The crowd screamed crazily. The elders trembled. Could it be that this kid had really comprehended a power that was close to the Tao? It had only been a few months. Was he going to defy the heavens? These people went crazy. At this moment, even the peak masters and grand elders' expressions changed. Their eyes flickered as they stared at Lin Xian. They wanted to see if Lin Xian was putting on an act or if he really had that kind of power. On the stage, Jun Wuya was also stunned. Then he burst into laughter. Kid, what did you say? You also have a power that's close to the Tao? What a joke. His face was full of disdain as if he had heard the funniest joke in the world. He admitted that the other party was able to obtain the recognition of the Moongazer's steel. His talent was heaven-defying. But so what? It had only been a few months since the other party obtained the Moongazer's steel. What could the other party do in these few months? As for him, he had been in the extraordinary scholar manner for more than 100 years. Since 100 years ago, he had begun to comprehend the ethereal steel. It was only in the recent 10 years that he had successfully comprehended a trace of power. He had obtained a power that was close to the Tao. Just like that, he was already a peerless genius, ranked fourth in the entire extraordinary scholar manner. The other party was just a newcomer. How could he compete with him? He did not believe that the other party had such power. You don't believe it? It's okay. I'll let you see it. Lin Xian raised his finger and pointed to the front. Annihilation. Was he going to make a move? Everyone was nervous. The elders were also watching nervously. Jun Wuya was even more stunned. He was on high alert. Lin Xian had the sword chi of the great dragon sword spirit. It was extremely terrifying. He was afraid that the other party would display some sharp sword technique. Hence he was prepared. But in the next moment he was stunned. There was no terrifying sword chi rushing out from the other party. What's going on? Is this a bluff? Kid, you're really funny. Do you think that I, Jun Wuya, am scared? Jun Wuya snorted in disdain. He took a step forward and was about to make a move. He did not believe that the other party could grasp such power. But suddenly, his entire right arm turned into ashes and no longer existed. Jun Wuya let out a blood-curdling scream as he spat out a mouthful of blood and flew backwards. His right arm quickly disappeared, vanishing into thin air. How is this possible? Jun Wuya was stunned. He half knelt on the ground and covered his wound. Chapter 3089. Heavens, what happened? Who can explain it? Those geniuses widened their eyes as if they had seen a ghost. Those elders were also trembling. The great elder stood up, the peak master sucked in a breath of cold air, and even the mansion master's eyes were shining brightly, illuminating the entire world. A power that was close to the Tao. Damn it, how could this kid have such power? Impossible, he had only comprehended it for a few months? Could it be that he was already so heaven-defying? Is this kid still human? These people went crazy. The black demon's body trembled and his face twisted. He roared crazily. Damn it, how could he have comprehended it? I don't believe it. How could he have comprehended a power that was close to the Tao? Huang Fu Baitian was also stunned. Yu Ling Long Han Fei and the others screamed. The North Demon's eyes flickered. It appeared this power really appeared. He had mastered this power, and it seemed to be a very domineering and destructive power. Lin Xian's move stunned everyone in the mansion master. Countless people were terrified. On the arena, Jun Wuya also came back to his senses. He screamed crazily. I don't believe it. How did you comprehend it? He had gone crazy. It took him 100 years to comprehend it, but the other party comprehended it in a few months? How could the gap be so big? He had never heard of it before? Even Yi Guqing wasn't so terrifying back then. Seeing Jun Wuya roaring crazily and no longer having the domineering aura of a king, Lin Xian sneered. Don't use your ant-like vision to understand me. I'm not an existence that you can understand. As he spoke, he waved the long sword in his hand again and swept it out. Annihilation of the sword. The blade drew an arc and an incomparably terrifying power was used. Everywhere it passed, everything turned into ashes. Nothing could resist it. This was a power that was close to the Tao. It was a power that Lin Xian had comprehended. Jun Wuya's body swayed and he threw out a few sky tyrant fists, but they all turned into ashes. At the next moment he came to the other side. The king's order, disappear. Now Jun Wuya had no choice but to use his domineering Tao to resist. This domineering Tao was extremely terrifying. He was like a supreme king commanding everyone and everything. For example, making people kneel or making people commit suicide. Now he wasn't targeting Lin Xian. Instead, he was targeting the destructive power and making it disappear. In the sky, the strange sword chi indeed stopped. Its light dimmed and its power weakened as if it was about to disappear. This was the power of the Tao of dominance. However, the domineering Tao wasn't having it easy either. Under the power of annihilation, it was disappearing slowly as well. Two powers that were close to the Tao collided in the sky. In an instant, the surrounding void collapsed and was annihilated, turning into countless large black holes. It was soundless, but it was more terrifying than a myriad of divine abilities. Everyone knew that right now, even if a king at the perfect level stood there, he would be instantly killed, unable to escape at all. You really do possess a power that is close to the Tao. Jun Wuya was too shocked. With this kind of power, one would have the qualifications to stand at the peak of the extraordinary warrior mansion. The other party was a very powerful enemy. But so what? Jun Wuya smiled. I admit that you are very strong, and your talent is heaven-defying. I have never seen anyone who could comprehend this kind of power so quickly. But it's a pity that you still met me. Jun Wuya's body emitted a terrifying aura, and his eyes became brighter and brighter. If it was me a few months ago, I might not have been your match. Unfortunately, in these few months, I have a breakthrough in my comprehension of heaven and earth. My control of the Tao of dominance has improved again. So, you are not my opponent at all. Next, I will let you see my true strength. Sovereign descends. As he spoke, the power of the Tao of dominance in front of him became stronger again. It was as if a heavenly emperor had been resurrected, looking down on the common people. At this moment, everyone felt that they were insignificant and would be crushed at any time. It's over. Lin Xian is in danger. Yes, they didn't expect Jun Wuya to be hiding his strength. This kind of power that is close to the Tao is too terrifying. It has already surpassed Lin Xian. Unless Lin Xian had other trump cards, he couldn't win at all. What other trump cards could he have? Being close to the Tao was already his greatest trump card. Everyone shook their heads. Although Lin Xian was monstrously strong, he was probably going to lose this time. Has his strength increased again? Seeing that the sword chi he sent out was slowly disappearing, and the emperor figure of his opponent was getting stronger and stronger, Lin Xian's eyes flickered. True strength? Well, I will let you see it. With a low roar, the great dragon sword soul erupted. The power of the great dragon sword soul overlapped with the power of annihilation. In front of him, the sword light was originally dim and about to be extinguished at any time, but suddenly, it seemed to be injected with a mysterious power and suddenly rose sharply. It slashed in the air. That heaven emperor-like body was sliced in half at the waist. Whoosh! The emperor figure and the illusion formed by the Tao of dominance disappeared. Wuxia spat out blood and fell to the ground. How is this possible? He actually broke my Tao of dominance. Could it be that he was also hiding his strength? Damn it, who the hell is this kid? Wuxia's body trembled. The others were also stunned. They were like statues, their minds in a daze. This scene was simply too inconceivable. He won, he actually won. The northern monster's pupils shrank. He knew Wuxia's strength. In his opinion, it would not be easy for Lin Xian to win against Wuxia. It was even possible that both sides would be injured. But now, Lin Xian actually suppressed Wuxia. He was not injured at all. It seems that his strength is beyond my imagination. The northern monster took a deep breath. Yu Linglong and Han Fei were both shocked. They felt a great threat. A rising new genius was coming toward them, so they had to be careful. They were afraid that if they encountered Lin Xian in the future, they would have to use their full strength. Otherwise they would end up like Wuxia. The black demon's body trembled, and his face was filled with fear. He originally wanted to challenge Lin Xian. He thought that his strength had increased greatly in the past few months, and he could easily trample on Lin Xian. But now, after seeing the battle between Lin Xian and Wuxia, he immediately changed his mind. Fight with Lin Xian? Trample on Lin Xian? What a joke. Even Wuxia, who had comprehended the Tao of dominance, was not a match for him, let alone him. Now he only hoped that they would not encounter each other. The Great Elder, the Four Peak Masters and the Mansion Masters were also overjoyed. Lin Xian's strength was beyond their imagination. Finally, another peerless genius appeared in their extraordinary scholar mansion? Perhaps this guy would not be inferior to Yi Gucheng when he grew up. Chapter 3090. Winner Full Moon Peaks Lin Xian. The referee elder hurriedly announced the result. Soon someone carried Wuxia off the stage. Lin Xian's figure flickered, and he arrived below the stage. He stood with his hands behind his back and continued to watch the battle. This guy actually won. He actually comprehended the full moon wordless steel. How despicable. Qingwu was stunned, and so was Zhong Lingxiu. Shen Jingqiu was even happier, and her big eyes turned into crescents. The battle continued. This time it was Shui Jiyu and He Mo's battle. When the two of them came out, the crowd exclaimed again. These two were also outstanding prodigies. If the North Yao, Yu Linglong, and the others were the top prodigies who had comprehended the Tao, then Shui Jiyu and He Mo were the second tier. Whether it was He Mo or Shui Jiyu, they were the top existences even in the second tier. Especially these two, they had been in the prime of their lives recently. He Mo had fought his way back from the fallen abyss, while Shui Jiyu had fought her way back from the blood refinement star. These two places were extremely dangerous, and even half-saints weren't willing to enter some places. However, not only did these two go in, but they also came back alive, and their strength had greatly increased. On the stage, Shui Jiyu waved her blood-red scimitar, and she turned into a killing god. Monstrous blood-red light surged in all directions, covering the entire sky. Everyone's blood boiled, and the murderous aura made many people faint. On the other side, He Mo was even more violent, and his demonic aura filled the sky. The battle between the two was like a killing god fighting a demon king, and it was earth-shattering. All kinds of magical techniques emerged one after another. Even the elders nodded in satisfaction. These two were not bad, and their strength had greatly increased compared to before. Is Shui Jiyu going to use the blood crystal? An elder exclaimed. He Mo was going to use the 9 heavens fallen demon. In the sky, countless blood-red scimitar lights quickly condensed into a blood-red figure, and it carried a powerful force as it charged over. On the other side, the 9 heavens were upside down, and countless black runes formed a black abyss. 2 terrifying forces exploded, destroying the heavens and the earth. Terrifying energy soared into the sky. In the end, Black Demon won by half a move, and a hellish crack pierced through the blood-red figure, causing Shui Jiyue to cough up blood and fly back. When Heimo actually won, everyone cried out in surprise. This was a scene they had never imagined. Before, although Heimo was strong, he was ranked behind Shui Jiyu. Who would have thought that he would be able to make a comeback this time? The people of Full Moon Peak were also screaming crazily. First it was Lin Xian and now it was Black Devil. This time their Full Moon Peak was going to soar into the sky. Huangfu Baidian had yet to make his move. How would he perform this time? Everyone was looking forward to it. It didn't take long for Huangfu Baidian to make a move. He walked up to the arena. Everyone screamed because his opponent had also come up. Han Fei. It was actually the third-ranked Han Fei. Huangfu Baidian was going to lose. Han Fei was extremely terrifying. He was even ranked above Jun Wuya. Jun Wuya had already comprehended the power of Tao, so Han Fei must have comprehended it as well. Moreover, its power was even greater than Jun Wuya's. They wondered how Huangfu Baidian would contend against him. Huangfu Baidian was ranked 5th. They wondered if he had comprehended the power of Tao. They didn't know. Last time they didn't see him use it. Perhaps this time he might have comprehended it. After all, Lin Xian hadn't fought with Huangfu Baidian on Full Moon Peak, so no one could make Huangfu Baidian display his true strength. Everyone was paying attention to this battle. Lin Xian's eyes were also shining. He wondered what kind of power Han Fei had comprehended that was close to the Tao. He had already experienced Jun Wuya's domineering Tao, but he hadn't seen the Taos of Han Fei, Yu Linglong and the Northern Demon. He could take advantage of this battle to observe. On the arena the two of them didn't speak. Huangfu Baidian didn't waste any words. He directly pulled out his mad saber and slashed forward. Wherever the saber went, the void would be shattered. Han Fei was wearing a purple armor. Endless lightning rushed out of his body, instantly forming a lightning domain. He didn't use his power of Tao. Instead, he used his king's domain. After all, for these prodigies, the power of Tao was also a trump card. They couldn't use it casually. The purple lightning domain was extremely terrifying. It enveloped heaven and earth, and endless lightning fell from the sky. Every single bolt of lightning could kill an unparalleled king. The elders were all astonished when they saw this. The elders of the Divine Tactics Peak exclaimed. Han Fei's strength had increased again. Yes. Although he was only at the peak of the 9-star realm, those at the Great Perfection stage were no match for him. More than that, his lightning was approaching a limit. If it went any higher, it would be at the half-step saint level. If a half-step saint didn't use the power of laws, it would be very difficult to resist this lightning. Everyone discussed. There was no doubt that the purple lightning domain was extremely terrifying. The sky full of lightning enveloped Huangfu Baidian and swallowed him. The long saber in Huangfu Baidian's hand slashed horizontally in all directions, and all the purple thunderbolts that were rushing toward him were destroyed by him. He used his maximum speed and charged forward. What a violent saber technique! Countless experts exclaimed. The elders' eyelids also twitched. They originally thought that with Han Fei's strength, he could win by using the king domain. But now it seemed that they had underestimated Huangfu Baidian. At this moment, Huangfu Baidian was charging forward like a god of sabers. Nothing could stop him wherever he went. The surrounding lightning kept shattering and the void collapsed. Bang! 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 In an instant, Huangfu Baidian broke through the purple lightning clouds and arrived in front of Han Fei. Han Fei let out a soft exclamation of surprise. You can break through my lightning domain. I really underestimated you. Bah. He raised his hand and struck forward. Huangfu Baidian's saber became stronger and more violent. In the end, even Yu Linglong, the North Demon, and the others were surprised. Lin Xian's eyes flickered. He exclaimed in his heart. This Huangfu Baidian is incredible. His saber technique is so sharp. He nodded in admiration. He was a swordsman, and swordsmen were similar to sabers. At this moment he could see that Huangfu Baidian's saber was not only sharp, but also precise and violent. Every strike had its effect. He did not waste a single bit of energy. No wonder Huangfu Baidian could be ranked first on the Full Moon Peak. Compared to Heimo, he was much stronger. Lin Xian shook his head slightly. He had seen the Black Demon's previous battle. It was very terrifying. But in his opinion it was too wasteful. Although the demonic aura was monstrous, most of the energy was just dazzling. Could not threaten the opponent. But Huangfu Baidian was different. His energy was all concentrated on the saber. One saber strike could destroy everything. Lin Xian was sure that if Huangfu Baidian fought the Black Demon with all his strength, He could defeat the black demon with 3 strikes. However, he still shook his head. If it was before, Huangfu Beidian would be a great threat to him. But it was different now. He had comprehended 2 types of power that were close to the Tao. He had completely surpassed ordinary invincible kings. Chapter 3091. Han Fei was astonished by Huangfu Beidian's saber. I didn't expect your saber technique to be so powerful. I admit that if I don't use my final trump card, I might not be able to suppress you. Unfortunately, I'm going to get serious now. The purple lightning around Han Fei's body became even more terrifying as he spoke. Let me show you my Tao of lightning. Great destruction. Han Fei's aura changed. As he slapped out with his palm, the sky rumbled as it was completely torn apart. Endless thunderbolts sent Huangfu Beidian flying. Huangfu Beidian's frenzied saber also broke into 2 halves with a clang. A power close to the Tao had appeared. Great destruction. As soon as this power appeared, it destroyed everything. The people of the Divine Will Peak screamed. The elders let out a sigh of relief. Lin Xian stared at the sky. The Tao of lightning was one of the 3,000 Taos of heaven and earth. Furthermore, it was an extremely violent type. The power of lightning was one of the most violent forces in the world. Experts of the lightning element were known for their violent destruction. Now that Han Fei had comprehended the Tao of lightning, it could destroy everything. The power was 100 times stronger than the demonic aura and endless sea of blood that Shui Jiue and the Black Demon had displayed. The Black Demon, Shui Jiue, and the others trembled under the power. Their faces were filled with despair. Huangfu Beidian also spat out a mouthful of blood. He looked at the broken saber in his hand and shook his head helplessly. He still stood up. I still have one last attack that I haven't used yet. It's useless. You're no match for me. Han Fei shook his head. However, Huangfu Beidian did not admit defeat. He took a step forward and let out a loud roar. The final saber, I intend to destroy the heavens. Huangfu Beidian let out a loud roar. The light on his body was extremely bright like the sun. It was so bright that the crowd could not open their eyes. No way Huangfu Beidian still wants to attack? His saber is already broken. The surrounding sky pride screamed. The elders were shocked. He's using himself as a saber. This guy is crazy. Bus. Huangfu Beidian turned into a saber and descended from the sky. Han Fei's eyelids twitched. His face sank. The final saber? It's indeed powerful. But it's still not enough. Great spear of destruction. Boundless lightning surged around his body, forming a purple divine spear of annihilation that pierced forward. Boom. Boom. A terrifying power erupted between heaven and earth. Huangfu Beidian was sent flying, his face pale. On the other side, the purple divine spear also paused slightly and shattered the void. Seeing this scene, the referee elder immediately announced that Han Fei was the victor. The Full Moon Peak's Grand Elder's figure flickered as he took Huangfu Beidian away. As expected. Everyone sighed. In front of a power that was close to the Tao, no matter how powerful a divine ability was, it was useless. Han Fei withdrew all of his power, his expression somewhat gloomy. His final attack had actually failed to pierce through his opponent. Instead, his opponent had actually caused his great destruction spear to pause slightly. This was simply inconceivable. This Huangfu Beidian was also a fierce man. Once he comprehended a power that was close to the Tao, his strength would probably undergo an earth-shaking change. Han Fei took a deep breath and left the arena. This battle shook the heavens and the earth, truly shocking everyone. Although Huangfu Beidian did not comprehend anything close to the power of the Tao, his final words as a saber, shocking the heavens and shocking the heavens. Even the elders exclaimed in surprise. Transforming into a saber, the ultimate slash. Lin Xian's eyes flickered as he was astounded. This Huangfu Beidian was not far away from comprehending a power that was close to the Tao. He was only one step away from comprehending it. He knew that Huangfu Beidian would be able to comprehend it soon after the battle. But what about this competition? Huangfu Beidian had no chance of coming in the top 3. However, the final slash had given Lin Xian some inspiration. Lin Xian could feel that his understanding of the sword Tao had improved. The following battles were even more intense. The participants continued to draw lots in the next round. After the first round, Lin Xian was matched against the Black Demon in the second round. The Black Demon wore an unpleasant expression. He even had the urge to kill himself. 10 days ago, he had returned in a domineering manner with great confidence. In his opinion, he would be able to crush both Huangfu Beidian and Lin Xian under his feet. He would become the strongest cultivator of the Full Moon Peak. He might even be able to make it to the top 5. However, when he saw Lin Xian defeating Jun Wuya with a power that was close to the Tao, the Black Demon knew that there was no way he could defeat Lin Xian. That was because he was simply no match for Lin Xian. Most likely Lin Xian would be able to defeat him with a single strike. Furthermore, he would be severely injured. The Black Demon could not accept the huge difference between them. He felt that his hard work, his pride, and his hard work over the past few months had all been crushed by Lin Xian. I admit defeat. On the arena, the Black Demon used all his strength to utter those words. At that moment he could even hear the sound of his heart shattering. Lin Xian did not make his move. He did not even look at the Black Demon. His opponent was no match for him at all. He could not even take a single move from him. Winning without a fight. This was another person who had done it after the North Demon. This Lin Xian was too terrifying. His fame was comparable to the North Demon. This kid could definitely make it to the top 3. Who could he push down? It would be difficult. The top 3 had all comprehended a power that was close to the Tao. They were all very terrifying. Although this kid was strong and had defeated Jun Wuya, it would not be easy for him to squeeze into the top 3. Lin Xian, it's my turn. Lin Xian came down. On the other side, Shen Jingqiu walked up. Be careful, don't get hurt. Lin Xian was concerned. It was that spiritual body. She was also very strong. He wondered who her opponent was. The surrounding martial artists and elders were all interested when they saw Shen Jingqiu go on stage. This time, Shen Jingqiu also displayed her powerful strength. Her cultivation was probably the highest among the younger generation of the extraordinary warrior manner. A cold snort sounded. Then, a silver-armored man flew through the air and landed on the arena. Lightning surrounded his body, supporting a lightning domain. He looked like the god of thunder. Mo Tian, it was actually him. Mo Tian, the second disciple of the Divine Strategy Peak, ranked 7th in the extraordinary warrior manner. His strength was unquestionable. Moreover, it was rumored that Mo Tian had recently found a half-step sage's relic and obtained a lot of good things. It's over. That Shen Jingqiu is going to be in danger. That's right. Although she was a spiritual body and had a high cultivation, her combat strength was not the strongest. She was lucky she could make it to the top 10. But now that she had encountered Mo Tian, she would probably be defeated. She could only blame her bad luck. But it was nothing. She was very young. Even if she failed this time, it did not matter. With her talent, strength, and appearance, she would definitely be the future goddess of the extraordinary warrior manner. Perhaps Qingwu's status would be challenged. Chapter 3092. Below the arena, Lin Xian furrowed his brows slightly. The dark red divine dragon beside him was also muttering. She should be fine, right? Upon hearing the discussions around her, Shen Jingqiu clenched her fists tightly. Her expression turned serious, and a hazy purple aura emanated from her body. Do these people not think highly of me? However, I won't lose. Shen Jingqiu snorted coldly in her heart. Big brother Lin Xian is so strong. He has already comprehended the power of the Tao. As his woman, I naturally can't be a burden. Big brother Lin Xian, don't worry. I'm not just a pretty face. I will definitely win. Shen Jingqiu's palms slowly formed a seal. Lightning circled around Mo Tian's body. He looked ahead and said coldly, "It's useless. You're no match for me." Silver armor lightning ring. Mo Tian opened his mouth and spat out a ring. It was formed from silver lightning. Once it appeared, frightening lightning runes flashed and streaked across the sky. Frightening energy surged forward, trying to pierce through Shen Jingqiu. The power that was learned from it was too frightening and violent. Even a peak-level unrivaled king would be killed instantly. Faced with this attack, Shen Jingqiu didn't retreat. She quickly formed a seal with her fingers and shouted. Cloud-grasping fist. Boundless deathly aura enveloped Shen Jingqiu's jade-like hands as she grabbed forward. What? She wants to grab the silver armor lightning ring with her bare hands? That's impossible. This little girl doesn't want to live anymore. The runes on the silver armor lightning ring were frightening. It was clearly the work of a half-saint. This was definitely a treasure that Mo Tian had obtained from a half-saint relic. Even the older generation of unrivaled kings didn't dare to take such an attack head-on. How dare this little girl do it with her bare hands? Where did her confidence come from? Her cultivation. However, in front of such a treasure, the gap between their cultivations was very close. The surrounding people were shocked. They thought that Shen Jingqiu was too careless. Is this little girl all right? The dark red divine dragon was also shocked. Lin Xian's eyes flickered as golden runes blossomed. He shook his head slightly. There were no more problems. It seemed like he had underestimated Qiu was definitely going to win this battle. These words had the surrounding geniuses bewildered. They then shook their heads and laughed coldly. Lin Xian might be powerful, but Xin Jingqiu might not be. Although the other party is your woman, you can't be so confident. Mo Tian was ranked 7th in the House of Prodigy. He was even stronger than He Mo. They didn't believe Lin Xian's words. But in the next moment, their eyes almost popped out of their sockets. In front of him, a pair of purple jade-like hands reached out and shuttled through the void. They grabbed the silver lightning ring and squeezed it hard. With a cracking sound, the lightning ring broke into 2 halves. What? He was caught. Everyone was shocked. And he even broke it. Heavens, what kind of method is this? These people were going crazy. Some of the elders were also shocked. Previously, they didn't think highly of Xin Jingqiu. They thought that Xin Jingqiu was too arrogant to take this move with her bare hands. She might be seriously injured. However, the result was beyond their expectations. It was actually broken. Mo Tian also frowned as his pupils shrank. He had never taken the other party seriously. But now, it seemed like he had underestimated the other party. She was indeed capable. No wonder she dared to attack me. But that move was just a test. Next, you will receive a storm-like attack. Mo Tian shouted coldly as a cold light burst out from his eyes. His body was like lightning as he charged forward quickly. In an instant he was in front of Xin Jingqiu. His palm was like a lightning blade that could destroy anything. It slashed down from the sky. It was comparable to a top-notch treasure. Rushing Thunder Hand. It was another great lightning ability. Xin Jingqiu turned into a purple cloud and disappeared instantly. Even though the Rushing Thunder Hand pierced through the cloud, it didn't injure Xin Jingqiu. Next, the two of them used their great divine abilities and fought in the sky. The surrounding people were shocked. At first, they didn't dare to believe it. Then they burst into exclamations. The Xin Jingqiu was really too powerful. They didn't expect that she could contend with Mo Tian. And they were evenly matched. Heavens, is this a spirit body? She's also a newcomer. Why do I feel that everyone who is related to Lin Xian is so perverted? Everyone exclaimed. Those elders were also full of joy. But Mo Tian frowned. After fighting for so long, he used so many great lightning abilities, but he couldn't do anything to the other party. This made him unable to believe. The next moment he shouted and rushed to the sky. Thunder surrounded his body. The terrifying thunder made people's souls tremble. Little girl, you've angered me. Next, I'll let you see my new treasure. Mo Tian stretched out his hand. On his right wrist there was a string of thunder beads. They were sparkling and translucent. There were a total of 18 thunder beads. Each thunder rune transformed into a thunder beast on the thunder beads. The 18 thunder beads were connected together. It was incomparably ferocious. At this moment, under Mo Tian's powerful lightning ability, the 18 thunder beads flickered rapidly. 18 thunder runes gushed out. A terrifying power erupted. What was that? It must be a treasure obtained from the half-saint's relic. It was too powerful. It was second only to the power close to Dao. Perhaps only the power close to Dao and Huangfu Baitian's ultimate blade could break it. Did Xin Jingqiu still have a trump card? If not, then she really lost. Moreover, she might be seriously injured. Everyone was worried for this beautiful woman again. Xin Jingqiu naturally felt threatened. The lightning runes emitted by the 18 thunder beads made her body tense. She shouted. Do you want to compete with your last trump card? Come on. I'll let you see my trump card. Spiritual Wuji. With a low shout, a rune appeared between Xin Jingqiu's eyebrows. It was a blood-red rune. It was very mysterious. When this blood-red rune appeared, the spiritual energy in the sky surged. Boundless energy surged towards Xin Jingqiu like a rain of light. Xin Jingqiu's aura also rose rapidly. This aura? What's going on? Damn it, how is it possible? The elders all stood up. Their faces were full of shock. Lin Xian was also shocked. Qiuer's aura had surpassed that of an invincible king. Indeed, Xin Jingqiu was in the complete invincible realm. She had reached the limit of an invincible king. But now, his opponent's cultivation had increased again. Is she going to enter the half-saint realm? I didn't expect her to cultivate her spiritual body to such a level. The dark red divine dragon was also shocked. The surrounding people were horrified. That's not right. A half-saint doesn't just increase one's cultivation. It also increases one's understanding of the great Tao of heaven and earth. If she doesn't understand the great Tao of heaven and earth, how can she become a half-saint? Indeed, a half-saint was half a step into the saint realm. They could already understand the great Tao of heaven and earth. The power they controlled surpassed the power close to the great Tao. It was called the law fragment. It was an incomplete law. Once they understood the complete law, they would break through from a half-saint to a true saint. Chapter 3093. The dark red dragon snorted coldly. What do you know? The power of a spirit body is not something you can understand. This was an extremely powerful physique that was famous in ancient times. Her cultivation had already surpassed that of an invincible king. She had not reached the saint realm, but she could reach the half-saint realm. However, she had not comprehended the laws of the half-saint realm. A half-saint without comprehending the laws of the half-saint realm. Countless exclamations sounded. The elders were also shocked. The four peak masters and supreme elders were also shocked. The mansion master nodded slightly. Not bad, not bad. This little girl is very talented. Even Han Fei, Yu Linglong and the others were shocked. The North Demon also had a serious expression. In the arena, Mo Tian frowned. His body trembled slightly. He felt a terrifying pressure coming from his opponent. This pressure was too strong. If Luo Yunyang's cultivation base was a great river, then Luo Yunyang's cultivation base was an endless ocean. This kind of comparison was enough to directly crush him. But he could not wait any longer. He could not let his opponent's aura completely increase. With a wave of his arm, the 18 thunder pearls on his wrist rushed out. They circled in the sky and enlarged like 18 stars. The 18 thunder beasts on the pearls kept roaring. They sometimes turned into ferocious beasts and sometimes into simple runes. As they rose and fell, bolts of thunder fell from the sky and completely devoured the area below. The 18 thunder beasts finally burst out at this moment and charged downward. Boom! The sky collapsed and the earth cracked. This was a fatal blow. An invincible king could not withstand it at all. In the sea of thunder, Shinjingqiu also made her move. The purple cloud armor appeared on her body. Like a supreme goddess, she waved her jade-like hand and shattered the surrounding thunder. Then she slapped out with her palm and sent a nearby thunder beast flying. She was too strong. Her power had surpassed that of an invincible king. It had even reached the level of Huangfu Baiqian's ultimate slash. However, the ultimate slash was only one slash. Shinjingqiu could now maintain this power and form a special state. So strong. Was this the power of a spirit body? Huangfu Baidian was also shocked. Even Han Fei Jun Wuya and the other geniuses who had comprehended the Tao looked serious. The other party was currently a half-step saint. Although he hadn't comprehended any laws, he was extremely powerful, surpassing the invincible king level. However, they were confident that they could defeat the other party. But what if the other party's cultivation level increased to that of a saint? Although there were no laws, with that boundless and ferocious cultivation strength, could it suppress them? They had no idea. Moreover, they didn't know if Shinjingqiu could reach that level. But no matter what, this was an opponent with great potential. The more Shinjingqiu fought, the braver she became. She was like a fairy from the ninth heaven, sweeping through all directions. The 18 thunder beasts screamed miserably as they were beaten by her. In the end, they were all turned into ashes. Ka. Cracks had also appeared on the mysterious lightning bead bracelet, and it looked like it would collapse at any moment. Seeing this, Mo Tian's face turned extremely ugly. He hurriedly put away the lightning bead bracelet. He had lost. Mo Tian actually lost. Everyone cried out in disbelief. Mo Tian was ranked 7th. How powerful. Especially when he used the 18 lightning beads bracelet, he would be able to fight against Huangfu Baidian. But now he had actually lost to Shinjingqiu. It was really hard to believe. Why do I feel that Shinjingqiu is too terrifying? That move of hers was able to fight against a power that was close to the Tao. I don't know. The power that was close to the Tao was too strange. Unless they really fought, no one would be able to deduce it. I've won. Shinjingqiu heaved a sigh of relief. She removed the power of the bloodline, and the rune between her eyebrows disappeared. Her cultivation had also returned to the invincible great perfection realm. Big brother Lin Xianqiu has won. Shinjingqiu ran down the arena cheering. Lin Xian was also very happy. He hugged Shinjingqiu in his arms. Everyone was extremely envious. Fuck, the new goddess was taken. Many people were disappointed. Shinjingqiu's appearance, cultivation, strength and talent were all excellent. She was not inferior to Jianghu at all. She was a new goddess. However, when they saw Shen Jingqiu snuggling in Lin Xian's arms with a blissful expression, the surrounding sky prides felt their hearts bleed. They had not even started fighting and the goddess was already taken? If it wasn't for Lin Xian, I really want to go up and beat him up. So I forget it. I'll give Lin Xian some face. These people shook their heads and sighed. It was not that they did not want to fight, but they were no match for Lin Xian. The competition continued. Next, another peerless sky pride appeared. It was Zhong Lingxiu. She had defeated Shui Jiyue in a domineering manner, which also shocked the crowd. Shen Jingqiu was already taken, but Zhong Lingxiu did not seem to be. Whoever was able to gain the favor of Fairy Zhong would definitely be extremely lucky. These sky prides once again looked at Zhong Lingxiu. However, Zhong Lingxiu's gaze was calm, as if she did not pay special attention to anyone. Lin Xian, the North Demon, and the others frowned slightly. This was because they saw coldness and disregard in each other's eyes. Indeed, coldness and disregard, as if she did not care about the entire world. How confident did she have to be to have such an expression? Was she looking down on the world? Lin Xian was surprised. It seemed that Zhong Lingxiu was even more mysterious than he had imagined. He wondered if she had grasped a power that was close to the Tao. The competition continued. Everyone went up one after another. Among them, Lin Xian won every match. Shen Jingqiu fought Yu Linglong and lost to her. Jun Wuya went up again. After winning a few matches, he lost to Han Fei. Huangfu Baidian, Heimo, and the others also made their moves. Some lost, some won. There were only 4 people who won every match. The North Demon, Yu Linglong, Han Fei, and Lin Xian. Bus. A figure walked up. He was wearing a purple battle armor surrounded by a purple sea of lightning. It was Han Fei. After Han Fei came up, he looked around disdainfully. I wonder who his opponent is. No matter who it was, they would be miserable. Other than the North Demon and Yu Linglong, no one could beat him. It was time for him to go up. Lin Xian also walked up to the arena. Everyone screamed. What? Was Lin Xian? Lin Xian was going to fight Han Fei. Heavens, was the final battle about to begin? Both of them had won every match. Moreover, both of them had grasped a power that was close to the Tao. Who would be the stronger one if the two of them fought? Han Fei stood in the arena with a serious expression. His eyebrows and hair were purple and surrounded by powerful lightning. When he saw Lin Xian come up, he said coldly, "The power that you have grasped is close to the Tao. It's strange. It's like destruction, but it's silent. It's similar to my Tao of Thunder. I really want to know who is stronger between the two of you." As he said that, endless thunder surged from Han Fei's body and pierced through the 9 heavens. I want to know too. It seems that I should be able to get the result now. Lin Xian smiled and extended a hand. Please. A terrifying aura surged from his body as if he was a demon king that could destroy everything. Great destruction. Chapter 3094. A power that was close to the Tao had appeared. Everyone was amazed when they saw the power of great destruction once again. The elders were also excited. Lin Xian's expression was solemn. He did not dare to be careless against such a power. But he waved his sword and executed the Sword of Annihilation. With a slash of his sword, the sword destroyed everything. The two collided in the air, and the resulting power made Huangfu Baidian, Emotion, Black Demon, and the others scream in horror. It was too terrifying. Most likely he could defeat them with a single move or even kill them. Boom, boom, boom. The two forces dissipated at the same time. It was indeed powerful. It was mysterious. It seemed that this power alone was not enough to deal with him. Han Fei snorted coldly. With a wave of his hand, Endless Thunder quickly formed a spear that he held in his hand. Great Destruction Spear. He waved the spear in his hand and stabbed out. Thousands of light shadows surged forward with the power of destruction. One after another, they were densely packed and enveloped the entire world. It was a law ability. An elder exclaimed. A power that was close to the Tao coupled with an unparalleled ability. Heavens! Han Fei was too heaven-defying. His application of this power was simply too powerful. In the previous battle, even if it was close to the Tao, he could easily defeat the enemy with just 1 or 2 moves. It was the first time such a fusion of power had appeared. Therefore everyone was amazed. They all looked at Lin Xian wondering if Lin Xian could resist it. How far had Lin Xian's comprehension of the laws reached? A law ability? It really surprised me. He smiled and was not afraid at all. In the next moment he waved his sword and destroyed the lotus. Streaks of sword chi came out one after another, forming green lotuses in the sky. Each sword lotus carried an extremely strong power of annihilation. Anyone who touched it would turn into nothingness. A law ability. Another law ability. He had fused a power that was close to the Tao into his sword technique. This Lin Xian was incredible. Clang. The blazing Qilin sword and the great destruction spear collided, producing an earth-shaking sound. Many people's bodies swayed. Hei Mo and the others' faces turned pale as they frantically retreated. It was too terrifying. In the sky, half of the sky had turned into a terrifying black hole. Thunder and lightning flashed within it. The other half of the sky instantly collapsed. The two forces clashed in the sky. After the first attack, the two continued to attack. Damn it, I can't do anything to him. Han Fei's face sank. He opened his mouth and spat out a large bell. Undying thunderous roar. The huge bell in the sky shook violently. Runes appeared on its surface and surged out in all directions like a tide. Saint runes. Someone screamed. No, this is not an ordinary saint's rune. Finally, a grand elder cried out in alarm. The saint's runes also contained power that was close to the Tao. What? How could he have such a thing? Many heaven rankers were shocked, their faces pale. There were also elders who said that the runes of saints were engraved by saints and were mysterious and profound. Ordinary invincible kings could only erupt with a portion of their power, but it was already very terrifying. They could laugh at the world. However, if it was activated by a half-step saint, it would release an even more terrifying power. If it was activated by a true saint, it would be no different from a Tao pattern law. Therefore, although they were all saints' runes, the power would be different for the person who used them. At this moment, in Han Fei's hands, it naturally displayed a power that was close to the Tao. Bus, bus, bus. The terrifying sound waves were like thousands of soldiers and horses galloping. Clang, clang, buff. Many people vomited blood and some people's weapons directly shattered, turning into scrap iron and falling to the ground. Retreat quickly. These people retreated crazily. The sound waves were too terrifying and could destroy everything. Waves of sound waves charged forward. Annihilation Green Lotus, 7th Sword. Lin Xian shouted coldly and slashed down. The biting cold sword Qi with the power of annihilation slashed at the sound waves. The sound waves were like a tide. After coming into contact with the sword Qi, they quickly dissipated. It's useless. You can block it for a while, but you can't block it forever. Han Fei was abnormally strong. The eternal demon bell above his head quickly attacked. It's over. Lin Xian is in danger. Yes, he only had a power that was close to the Tao. But now, Han Fei took out the eternal demon bell, and the power it released was not weaker than the Tao. It was equivalent to 2 against 1. How could Lin Xian resist? Unless he also had such a treasure or used a saint's rune. Otherwise he was really in danger. Was Lin Xian going to be defeated? Lin Xian took a breath. The great dragon sword soul in his body roared and superimposed on the power of annihilation. In the next moment he used the green lotus sword art again. Annihilation Green Lotus, 9th Sword. Bus, bus. 9 huge sword Qi intertwined in the sky, forming a lotus that bloomed quickly. The petals with the power of annihilation spun out and collided with the eternal demon bell. With a clang, the eternal demon bell was sent flying. The sound waves in the sky were shattered. Buff. Han Fei was hit and spurted out a mouthful of blood. At this moment, his expression changed drastically. The lotus in the sky enveloped him and a terrifying power acted on his body, causing the thunder around him to disappear quickly. Damn it, get lost. Han Fei roared and the power of annihilation exploded, bombarding the surroundings. However, he still underestimated this sword. After superimposing the power of the great dragon sword soul, its power was much stronger than before. Therefore Han Fei was soon engulfed. The entire space had completely collapsed. How could it be? Han Fei couldn't block it? What was going on? The Sky Pride screamed in horror. The people of Divine Tactics Peak were stunned. It shouldn't be. Han Fei had the upper hand after taking out the eternal demon bell. Logically speaking, he should be able to defeat his opponent in a short time. But why did he fall into such a dangerous situation now? How did that brat do it? The elders of Ethereal Peak and Exquisite Peak frowned. His power of annihilation had increased again. Could it be that he didn't use his full strength before? They sucked in a breath of cold air when they thought of this possibility. In front of them was a chaotic void. Finally, the terrifying power of annihilation slowly disappeared. A figure flashed out of the void. This figure was in a miserable state. Half of his body had disappeared and his body was dyed red with blood. His handsome face was pale and his eyes were filled with shock. Damn it, how could you be so powerful? This person was Han Fei. After seeing Han Fei's state, everyone was stunned. Even Yu Linglong's pupils shrank. Han Fei actually suffered such a heavy injury. How could this be? The northern demon sucked in a deep breath and his expression was grave. Chapter 3095. You've lost. Lin Xian looked at Han Fei and said indifferently. Kid, I admit that you're very strong. Your last attack almost killed me. You even injured me severely. But I haven't lost yet. I still have one more move that I haven't used yet. Han Fei's body quickly reassembled, and his face was incomparably pale. I originally planned to use this move to deal with the North Demon, but I didn't expect to use it on you. But you should be proud of yourself. You'll be defeated by this move. Han Fei still has a trump card. Everyone exclaimed in surprise. The elders of the Divine Will Peak were also excited. Could it be another move? That's great. If Han Fei used that move, he would definitely be able to defeat this brat. Could even threaten the North Demon. He still has a trump card? Lin Xian was also stunned. Then he smiled and said, just use whatever you have. I'll take it. Han Fei didn't say anything. He condensed the Great Destruction Spear again, and a terrifying destructive power suppressed the surroundings. Lin Xian shook his head slightly. The Great Destruction Spear is useless against me. Indeed, the results of the previous battle had already shown that his strength was above Han Fei's. However, Han Fei didn't say anything. Instead, he took out another item. It was a small bottle that was crystal clear like white jade. After he opened it, he poured out a drop of blood. As soon as the blood came out, the surrounding space trembled violently and countless cracks appeared. It couldn't withstand it at all. There were even sparkling lights flickering in the blood, bringing with it a shocking power. What kind of blood is this? Everyone's heart trembled and their souls shook. The elders of the Divine Will Peak were extremely excited. Half-Saint blood. He finally took out that thing. What? Half-Saint blood? What is he going to do? Everyone exclaimed. Half-Saints had already condensed law fragments, which surpassed the power of the Tao. Their blood naturally contained law fragments. A drop of Half-Saint blood could kill any invincible king. Could it be that Han Fei wanted to use Half-Saint blood to kill Lin Xian? However, with Lin Xian's speed and the power of annihilation, he should be able to dodge it. This was indeed the case. It was very difficult for one drop of blood to kill Lin Xian. Only a large amount of semi-sage blood could threaten to kill Lin Xian. However, to everyone's surprise, Han Fei did not kill Lin Xian. Instead, he merged with the Great Destruction Spear in his hand. In the next moment, a shocking change occurred. Streaks of blood-red light appeared on the surface of the Great Destruction Spear, and its power suddenly skyrocketed. The entire sky collapsed completely as an extremely ferocious power surged out. Even the surrounding formations were trembling violently. Despair filled the faces of the martial artists inside the array. This power? Heavens, is this the law? It was too terrifying. Even the elders felt their scalps go numb. Who would have thought that Han Fei would actually fuse the Tao of Destruction with the Half-Saint's blood and erupt with even more shocking power? The power of the fusion of the semi-sage blood and the Great Destruction Spear was too terrifying. It had already surpassed the power displayed by Lin Xian. Therefore, when everyone felt this power, their expressions all changed. Oh no, Lin Xian was in danger. Yes, they did not expect Han Fei to have such a trump card. Lin Xian had already seriously injured Han Fei before. He was about to win, but he did not expect to make a comeback at the last moment. Boy, you don't have a chance. Han Fei shouted coldly. He leaped high, and the blood-red Great Destruction Spear in his hand charged straight down. Lin Xian frowned. He felt a great threat. The blood of a semi-sage? He actually had such a trump card. Indeed, this strike had surpassed the previous one. But so what? Lin Xian smiled. The previous attack was the 9th sword of the Green Lotus Sword technique. The Green Lotus Sword technique had a total of 13 swords. The 13th sword combined with the power of annihilation was something that Han Fei had not seen before. Well, he would let these people see it. Bus. Annihilation Green Lotus, the 13th sword. Lin Xian waved his long sword, sweeping across the 9 heavens. 13 streaks of sword chi flew out with the power of annihilation, forming a sword chi lotus in the sky. It collided with the blood-stained Great Destruction Spear. The aura of this lotus had become stronger again. It was much stronger than the previous one. God, Lin Xian also had a hidden trump card. Everyone was stunned. Han Fei's pupils shrank. He did not expect his opponent's strength to become stronger again. It even made him tremble. He felt the great destruction spear in his hand tremble as if it would vanish at any time. Damn it. No. Be destroyed. With a roar, he desperately activated his power and stabbed down. Endless light burst out, illuminating the 9 heavens and 10 earths. No one could open their eyes. Only the peak masters of the 4 peaks, as well as the mansion master and the others, had eyes that pierced through the 9 heavens. It was not until a long time later that the light between heaven and earth gradually dissipated. Everyone hurriedly opened their eyes. How was it? How was the battle? Who won this battle? It was Lin Xian's Annihilation Lotus. Or was it the blood-stained Great Destruction Spear? I think it should be the Great Destruction Spear. The blood of a half-step saint combined with the path of destruction is too terrifying. It should be able to threaten a half-step saint. That might not necessarily be the case. Lin Xian's Lotus Sword Qi was too terrifying, and its might was twice as strong as before. How on earth did he use it? Everyone was discussing animatedly as they looked forward. In the next moment their eyes widened. In the arena, Lin Xian's expression was calm. His bright red robe was spotless and he stood with his hands behind his back. In front of him stood 2 figures. One of them was Han Fei. At this moment Han Fei's face was pale. The great destruction spear in his hand had long disappeared. Not only that, but one of his arms was also missing. Beside him stood an old man. It was the referee elder. The referee elder had made a move. What was going on? The surrounding prodigies were discussing animatedly. Someone exclaimed. Han Fei had lost. The referee elder had made a move at the critical moment and saved his life. What? You're saying that the sword strike just now could threaten Han Fei's life? I'm afraid so. Everyone gasped in shock, and the elders sucked in a breath of cold air. The elder of the Divine Strategy Peak looked up and sighed. He had lost. The number 1 prodigy of the Divine Strategy Peak had actually lost. Lin Xian was too terrifying. How could this be? Han Fei's eyes were also empty. He still couldn't accept this fact. Indeed, even though his great destruction spear was stained with the blood of a half-step saint, it still couldn't resist that shocking attack and disappeared in the end. Not only that, but the power of annihilation had also enveloped his entire body. In an instant his entire right arm was gone. It was too powerful. It was so powerful that he couldn't resist it at all. If this continued he would be killed. Therefore he could only admit defeat. A sword light flashed in the sky. The referee elder had made a move, destroyed the terrifying sword Qi Lotus, and saved Han Fei. Chapter 3096. Winner Lin Xian. The referee elder announced the result and at the same time, channeled some energy into Han Fei. Lin Xian really won. I'm not dreaming, am I? These people were stunned. The people of Full Moon Peak were also stunned. Then they burst into cheers. Lin Xian actually won. Haha, our Full Moon Peak is going to produce a dragon this time. Han Fei is 3rd. Lin Xian defeated Han Fei. Doesn't that mean that he's already in the top 3? The sky prides of the Full Moon Peak were stunned. The elders were also extremely excited. The Grand Elder took a deep breath, his eyes red. Even the Peak Master of Full Moon Peak was smiling. It couldn't be helped. Their Full Moon Peak had been quiet for too long. They had been suppressed to the last place. Even their number 1, Huangfu Badian, was only ranked 5th in the entire Extraordinary Warrior manner. When the Full Moon Peak was mentioned, the people of the other 3 peaks were full of disdain and ridicule. And now they could finally hold their heads high. Lin Xian displayed a power that was close to the Tao. He defeated Jun Wuxia and Han Fei and successfully entered the top 3. This was their Full Moon Peak's moment. This was their Full Moon Peak's glory. At this moment, the entire Full Moon Peak was in a sea of joy. He actually managed to enter the top 3. Huangfu Badian took a deep breath and clenched his fists. Black Demon was even more in disbelief. To be honest, he didn't dare to provoke Lin Xian at all. He even had to avoid Lin Xian when he saw him. The other Sky Prides were even more shocked. For so many years, the top 3 of the Extraordinary Warrior Manor had been dominated by the North Demon, Yu Linglong and Han Fei. The rankings were unshakable. They were like 3 mountains that pressed down on everyone's hearts. But now, someone had shaken one of the mountains. Moreover, it was a newcomer who had entered less than a year ago. This was simply a miracle, a legend. Han Fei was defeated? Yu Linglong took a deep breath. Her expression was incomparably solemn. Lin Xian was the biggest threat to her apart from the North Demon. The North Demon also looked at Lin Xian. his eyes shone with a piercing light. Soon we will be exchanging blows very soon. At that time, I will personally experience the strength of the successor of the great dragon sword soul. The North Demon was becoming more and more interested in Lin Xian. He was eager to fight Lin Xian. Lin Xian's victory could be said to have created another legend. Everyone was excited, and only after a long discussion did they gradually calm down. Moreover, this was forcefully interrupted by the referee elder. Otherwise he would probably be excited for 3 days and 3 nights. Brat, well done. Seeing Lin Xian walk down, the dark red dragon god waved its claws and laughed. Shen Jingqiu even clapped and cheered. At the side, Yi Fei, Xueling, Wang Qi and the others came to congratulate him. Even Huangfu Beidian came. The black demon stood in the distance and struggled for a long time. In the end he also came over and lowered his arrogant head. He first congratulated Lin Xian, then apologized to Lin Xian and admitted his previous rashness. This scene made everyone feel even more incredulous. Even the arrogant black demon lowered his head to Lin Xian. It could be said that Lin Xian's battle had convinced all the prodigies of the Full Moon Peak. He had become the champion of the Full Moon Peak. Lin Xian raised his head and looked into the distance. The champion of the Full Moon Peak? This was not what he wanted in the end. What he wanted was the champion of the House of Prodigy. The battle between Lin Xian and Han Fei made everyone excited and excited. Although the following battle was exciting, it was much worse than the previous battle. Everyone was a little uninterested. They really wanted to see a battle that was close to the power of the Tao again. Yes, that kind of power was the strongest power in the world. The other invincible kings were too far away. Everyone was looking forward to seeing that miraculous power again. Not long after, they burst into cries of surprise. This time, even the elders seemed to have been injected with chicken blood, and were extremely excited. The peak leader of Gale was also paying close attention. This time, it was another battle between 2 top prodigies. The North Demon against Yu Linglong. This battle could be said to be more exciting than the previous battle between Lin Xian and Han Fei. The North Demon was the champion of the House of Prodigy. He was incomparably powerful. Yu Linglong was the second champion of the House of Prodigy. Her strength was above Han Fei. Moreover, during this period of time, Yu Linglong had been cultivating in seclusion. Her strength must have increased greatly. It could be said that the outcome of her battle with the North Demon was unknown. This battle could be said to be the most anticipated battle in the hearts of countless people. He wondered just how strong the North Demon was. Could Yu Linglong turn the tables and defeat the North Demon? If that was the case, then it would be worth watching. These people were excited. Lin Xian also revealed a smile. Could he finally see the full strength of the two of them? Well, let's see what kind of Tao they have comprehended. He had already seen the Tao of Jun Wuya and Han Fei. The battle in front of him could let him see the Tao of Northern Demon and Yu Linglong. This would be of great help to him when he fought the two of them in the future. Know the enemy and know yourself, and you will never be defeated. In the arena, the two of them were 30 meters apart. The North Demon's body was slender and his eyes were deep. He looked at the beautiful figure in front of him and smiled faintly. Yu Linglong, make your move. Let me see how much you have grown recently. North Demon, don't be careless. This time, my strength will definitely surprise you. Who knows, I might even be able to defeat you. Yu Linglong's red lips parted slightly. Is that so? I'm looking forward to it. As he spoke, the North Demon waved his finger. Suddenly, a ball of green light appeared around Yu Linglong and enveloped her. Countless plants grew out of the green light. It was incomparably crazy and completely enveloped Yu Linglong. This scene appeared very suddenly. Everyone was shocked because most of them had never seen the North Demon make a move before. Those who had fought the North Demon before were defeated without a fight. They did not dare to attack the North Demon at all. It could be said that this was the first time the crowd had seen the North Demon make a move. Plants. Could it be that the North Demon was a wood elemental martial artist? Shouldn't wood elemental martial artists be used to heal life elemental martial artists? Many sky prides were confused. However, Han Fei, Jun Wuya, Huangfu Beidian, and the others had extremely serious expressions. The North Demon had really made a move. They were not surprised because they had fought the North Demon before and knew that he was a wood elemental martial artist. However, they did not agree with the crowd's thoughts. Were wood elemental martial artists only supposed to heal and assist? What a joke. When these people saw how terrifying the North Demon was, they would change their view of wood elemental martial artists. Lin Xian's pupils constricted and his face was filled with shock. Wood elemental martial artist? That was rare. They did not expect the North Demon to be a wood elemental martial artist. Then, was the power that he had comprehended close to Tao related to wood elemental plants? In the arena, Yu Linglong was already enveloped by those plants. It was so terrifying that the green light covered her. Yu Linglong was not afraid at all. She formed a seal with her palms. Instantly, a storm surged from her body and spread the plants around her. In the next moment she rose into the air. Her clothes and black hair fluttered in the wind. Chapter 3097. Windkill. Yu Linglong's aura instantly changed. It became incomparably ethereal, as if it had merged with the wind. A violent wind blew in all directions, and large cracks appeared all over the place. The law of wind. This was the power of the law of wind. Yu Linglong had actually comprehended this power. Many people screamed. Lin Xian was also surprised. The power of the wind? Wind type against wood type. This was going to be interesting. That was what he had in mind. Facing the extremely powerful storm, the North Beast was not afraid at all. He waved his hand. With a boom, the sky split open. A huge black shadow filled the sky, flickering with a terrifying aura like a hill. What was that? Sensing the fearsome aura and boundless power, everyone raised their heads. In the next moment they screamed. It was a plant. It was a tree. A divine tree appeared between heaven and earth, growing in the void. Vast branches and vines covered the sky and the earth, stretching for hundreds of thousands of miles. It was too mysterious, like a myth. The wood of 10,000 demons. The North Beast did not hold back at all. Jun Wuxia's expression was solemn, and his voice was trembling. Although he was the second strongest of ethereal peak, he was still afraid of the North Beast. Han Fei said coldly. How could he hold back? People at their level would definitely go all out. The wood of 10,000 demons. How would Yu Linglong resist? Logically speaking, as a lightning-type warrior who had comprehended the Tao of lightning, he should be able to suppress wood-type attacks. But at this moment, facing the wood of 10,000 demons, his face was pale without a trace of blood. That was really shocking. The wood of 10,000 demons? Lin Xian's eyes flickered and he was shocked. This divine tree was really too terrifying. It displayed an extremely powerful strength and exuberant vitality. With this divine tree, the North Beast would probably be able to recover no matter how injured he was. It was practically immortal. Unless he could kill the North Beast in one strike, but he knew that it was impossible. Even he could not do it at the moment. Perhaps even a half-sage could not do it. Perhaps only a true sage could kill the North Beast in one strike when using a true law divine ability. Has it appeared? The wood of 10,000 demons. Yu Linglong floated in the void, looking at the huge object that was like a divine city above her head. Her eyes sparkled. Her body also began to tremble slightly. In the next moment she let out a delicate cry, and a huge storm appeared around her. It rushed into the clouds and two wind blades that were thousands of miles long slashed into the sky. Illusory wind. At the same time she charged toward the northern monster. She knew that only by defeating the northern monster would the terrifying tree in the sky disappear. Wind blades filled the sky like a rain of light. He sent it out. Every single one of them was incomparably terrifying. It was comparable to a peak heaven step treasure. This was a power that was close to the Tao. It was far beyond ordinary divine abilities. A wind blade. He could easily kill invincible kings. They covered the sky and covered the earth as they charged towards the North Demon. The Northern Demon didn't dodge at all. With a wave of his hand, the tree of 10,000 demons hung down from the sky. In front of him, plants grew wildly. The wind ninjas were also trembling. On top of those wind blades, beautiful flowers actually bloomed one after another. The power of those wind blades was completely absorbed by the demonic flower and dissipated into the void. In an instant, the entire sky was filled with demonic flowers. It was exceptionally beautiful. So beautiful. The women exclaimed in admiration. However, the top prodigies felt their scalps go numb. It was too terrifying. The northern monster's Tao of wood was extremely terrifying. This is my brother's power. Jianghu raised her small face, her face full of excitement. She was very clear about her brother's strength. Previously, 3 peak stage invincible kings had come to kill the northern demon. However, the bodies of those 3 peak stage invincible kings had split open, and countless plants grew out of them. They had been forcefully sucked dry. Who said that wood-type martial artists could only save people? Her brother, the northern demon, could easily kill any invincible king. In the sky, 2 powers that were close to the Tao collided violently. The plants in the sky grew crazily, and a terrifying storm erupted. Seeing this, everyone was terrified. This divine ability was comparable to a half-step saint. These two people were incredible. Their strength far surpassed Jun Wuya and Han Fei's. They wondered how Lin Xian would fare if he encountered these two. It would be difficult. Although Lin Xian's power was strong, it was probably not comparable to these two. Especially the Northern Demon. His Tao of Wood and Tao of Wood were too terrifying. No one would be able to break through them. The wind blew for 90,000 miles. With a furious roar, the sky was torn apart, and a power that was close to the Tao filled the world. The scene was too terrifying. The storm was like two giant dragons that danced in the sky, shattering the entire sky. The tree of 10,000 demons in the sky rumbled and trembled. It had erupted. Yu Linglong was probably going to use her trump card. Han Fei and Jun Wuya both exclaimed. The wind blew for 90,000 miles, flattening everything in the world. A terrifying mystique enveloped the entire area. Even the faces of the elders changed. This Yu Linglong was incredible. That was. The elder of Linglong Peak was proud. Yu Linglong's strength had increased by leaps and bounds. This time she would definitely be able to defeat the Northern Demon. In the face of such a terrifying divine ability, the Northern Demon was unusually calm. He did not panic at all. He waved his hand and pointed at the void. Divine tree descend. Boom, boom, boom. The tree that was like a divine city in the sky quickly descended. With a powerful aura, it cut the two giant dragon storms in half. Wind-binding kill. The collision in the sky continued, but Yu Linglong still used the blitz of wind to arrive behind the Northern Demon. A green long sword appeared in her hand. It pulsed with multicolored light, and an extremely mysterious power flickered on it. It was condensed with a power that was close to the Tao. Under this attack, any top-tier armor would be shattered. Nothing could stop it. The divine tree bloomed. Sensing the danger behind him, the Northern Demon shouted coldly and suddenly turned around. His eyes shone with a cold light. The divine tree in the sky exploded with divine power, and countless petals bloomed. Not only that, demonic flowers appeared beside the Northern Demon, absorbing the opponent's energy to resolve the danger of the sword. It's useless. This sword is too close. You're too late. Yu Linglong cried out and waved her jade-like hand. Sword chi split the earth and the sky. The sword was about to pierce through the Northern Demon. The Northern Demon smiled. Open. His voice was cold. In the next moment, Yu Linglong's body trembled and she almost fell from the sky. The long sword in her hand, which was condensed with a power that was close to the Tao, could not be held firmly. Yu Linglong's expression changed. She spat out a mouthful of blood and her body swayed. Everyone screamed as if they had seen a ghost. Even Han Fei and Jun Wuya were trembling. Xin Jingqiu cried out. Her face was pale. Lin Xian's pupils constricted. Chapter 3098. He saw a flower bloom on Yu Linglong's body. It was a flower as beautiful as blood. The flower was very small at first, only the size of a palm, but it kept absorbing Yu Linglong's power, vitality, and blood chi. It kept growing. In the end it was as big as a millstone. Yu Linglong's face quickly turned pale as she lost her power. He let out a loud scream. Tens of thousands of sharp multicolored lights rushed out from his body, shattering this beautiful flower that was as red as blood. In the next moment she fled thousands of miles away, not daring to approach the North Demon again. How did you do that? Yu Linglong's expression was filled with fear. At that time, a power that was close to the Tao surrounded her body, but the North Demon was able to bloom a flower in her body. Didn't that mean that the North Demon's power far surpassed hers? He had suppressed her power. She couldn't believe it. You're not my match. The North Demon stood with his hands behind his back. He looked like a peerless demon king. Yu Linglong snorted coldly. Although she had been injured and had even lost her strength, she was still unwilling to admit defeat just like that. He reached out and pressed his palm into the void. Instantly, the plant defenses around the North Demon exploded into pieces. For a moment, there was nothing around the North Demon. Yu Linglong shouted as she reached out with her palm again. A powerful storm instantly enveloped the North Demon. The storm had appeared too suddenly. Even the elders were startled and let out a shriek. She had comprehended the law of wind to such a level. It was silent and impossible to guard against. That's right. Not many invincible kings were able to stop him. Boom, boom. The great palm of wind suddenly exploded. The destructive power completely annihilated the North Demon. She had succeeded. Yu Linglong revealed a smile. The North Demon was strong, but he was still careless under her law of wind. Her Grand Wind handprint was definitely capable of injuring her opponent. The surrounding people also exclaimed. Was the North Demon injured? Even such a powerful Northern Demon was injured. This Yu Linglong was too terrifying. Han Fei and Jun Wuya were shocked. Yu Linglong's power had increased beyond their imagination. Especially Han Fei. He smiled bitterly. He realized that he had no confidence in defeating Yu Linglong at all. Lin Xian's eyes flashed and golden light appeared. Was the North Demon really injured? He remained doubtful. In the distance, Jianghu looked up and snorted coldly. What do you know? My brother's power is not something you can imagine. In the sky, the countless storms slowly dissipated, revealing a figure. Everyone looked over. In the next moment they were stunned. Yu Linglong screamed. Was not injured? How was that possible? How could his grand palm of wind not hit the other party? Did he miss? No, he should have been hit. What was the North Demon? Lin Xian's eyes. Green vines covered the Northern Demon's body, forming a green vine armor that covered his body. Green's green armor. When Yu Linglong saw the green vine armor, she screamed loudly. Wasn't it already extinct? How could it still exist in this world? Green Demon Rattan? What's that? Everyone was stunned. An elder exclaimed. That was a mutated species. It was rumored that it had disappeared during the ancient era. How could it be in the North Demon's hands? The green demon vine was extremely terrifying. It grew crazily and its vitality was extremely strong. It was said that a single green demon vine had destroyed a planet. It had sucked all the energy of that planet dry. As for the star world, it became a dead star. There were no longer any living beings there. There were very few green demon vines. However, during the ancient era there was a huge disaster. Hundreds of planets were completely corroded and were in danger of being destroyed. Fortunately, there was a great emperor who was still around. With a wave of his hand, the green demon vine was completely destroyed. Could it be that the great emperor did not kill all the green demon vines back then? Instead, he left a few behind? Everyone was very confused. Lin Xian was shocked when he heard that. A single plant could destroy an entire world? Why did it sound like a fantasy story? If it was before, he would not have believed it even if he was beaten to death. However, when he saw the Dark Star ruins being split apart by a sword, he knew. Destroying a planet was not a difficult task in the eyes of those super experts. After all, a planet was just a planet. For those super sages, it was not difficult to pluck the sun and moon with their hands, swallow the sun, and split the stars with their swords. Moreover, there were great emperors above those super sages. Rumor had it that the green demon vine had destroyed dozens of planets, but it was destroyed by a great emperor from a distance. How imposing was this? How powerful was this? Lin Xian was extremely excited just thinking about it. Lin Xian was excited, but Yu Linglong, who was in the sky, was not excited at all. Her face was pale and she was about to cry. That was an extinct mutated species. How did the North Demon get his hands on it? If it was really the green demon vine, why would she fight? The entire world was probably in danger. The elders were also worried. The green demon vine in the North Demon's hands was a potential disaster. The Misty Peak leader looked into the void and shook his head slightly. There was no need to worry. It was just a dead green demon vine. A dead green demon vine? Many elders heaved a sigh of relief. However, the palace lord frowned slightly. Although those green demon vines were already dead, the North Demon vine was a monster. But don't forget, Northern Fei had the 10,000 Fei body. These branches of the green demonic vine could be reborn in his hands. Of course, it was not an easy task to revive the green demonic vines that had been dead for countless years and had even gone extinct. It was not certain if the North Demon could reach that step. Because he was wearing the green vine armor, the North Demon was not injured by that attack. He looked forward and said coldly, "It's over." He waved his finger and the power of wood erupted. 7 rays of light flew out and surrounded Yu Linglong. In an instant, the 7 rays of light bloomed into 7 flowers. Red, orange, red, green, blue, indigo, purple. 7 different colors bloomed in the sky and coiled around each other. The 7-flower formation. Han Fei exclaimed. Yu Linglong looked as if she was facing a great enemy. The wind rises for 90,000 miles, and the sword shakes the 9 states. She once again activated the power that was close to the Tao. The sky split open, and the wind above 90,000 miles floated down, forming a huge green sword in her hand. It was like an azure dragon that pierced into the clouds. Everyone was terrified. That was the astral wind, but Yu Linglong could control it. The astral wind was the wind of the outer realm. It was extremely terrifying and could even injure a half-saint. If an invincible king encountered it, he would definitely be killed instantly. This should be Yu Linglong's final trump card. Could she break the seven-flower formation? Was she going to risk her life? The North Demon looked at the huge green sword in the sky. His gaze also focused. In the next moment, he snorted coldly and formed a seal with his palms. Chapter 3099. 7 bewitching flowers bloomed in the air, emitting mysterious runes. The seven-flower formation released a powerful energy that shrouded the area in front of it. In an instant, the void shattered and the spiritual chi between heaven and earth was sucked dry. Yu Linglong's body trembled. She felt that her chi, blood, and energy were about to be sucked dry. In the next moment, she didn't dare to hesitate anymore. She waved her hand and the green-red wind sword that was tens of thousands of miles long slashed down. Boom! Boom! This sword was simply too terrifying. Green light filled the sky and a storm blew. Fortunately, there was an array protecting it. Otherwise, the entire outstanding warrior manor would have been destroyed. However, what was even more shocking was that such a stunning sword couldn't withstand the seven-flower formation. The 7 demonic flowers in the seven-flower formation grew crazily and took away all energy. Although the green-red wind sword was terrifying, it was drained of energy by the seven-flower formation and instantly dimmed. Gradually, it became tens of thousands of miles long and then thousands of miles long. In the end, it disappeared. The 7 flowers grew into monstrous beasts. Each of them was like a majestic mountain that stood in the void. The 7 flowers formation had originally been formed by the 7 flowers. Now that the 7 flowers had grown into a colossus, the might of the 7 flowers formation had also increased exponentially. Yu Linglong, who was trapped by the array, trembled. Her face was pale and bloodless. In the next moment, she fell from the sky and couldn't even stand up. The energy in her body was completely drained. What? At this moment, everyone was shocked. The elders of Linglong Peak screamed. Linglong. They didn't expect Yu Linglong to be defeated and stripped of all her energy. I admit defeat. Yu Linglong fell on the arena and said weakly. She didn't even have the energy to speak now. The winner was the North Beast of Misty Peak. The judge quickly announced the result. After hearing the result, the North Beast descended from the sky. He waved his hand and the 7 demonic flowers in the sky spun rapidly. Endless energy poured into Yu Linglong's body again. Soon Yu Linglong recovered and the 7 demonic flowers disappeared. The tree of 10,000 demons in the sky also slowly dissipated. The North Beast descended from the sky like a demon. Had his energy recovered? Yu Linglong sensed her body and didn't feel happy. Instead, she smiled bitterly. Too powerful. The North Demon was truly like a demon in front of her. With a flip of his hand, he could summon clouds and rain with a flip of his hand. He had her life and death in his hands. This feeling was really unpleasant, but there was nothing she could do. It seemed like no one would be able to defeat the North Demon this time. As expected of the number 1 in the House of Prodigy, the others screamed in shock. The Northern Demon was too strong, so strong that they trembled. They couldn't resist at all. In their opinion, neither Yu Linglong nor Han Fei were qualified to fight against the North Demon. Is this the first place of our House of Prodigy? He was simply too powerful. The Northern Yao had long since entered the ancient starry sky path, and he had fought against the prodigies of the other worlds. Moreover, he had established an illustrious reputation for himself. Looking at it now, it was indeed true. Who told me that the wood element was only a martial artist who could heal and assist? I'll slap him to death. Fuck, this is the first time I know that a wood attribute martial artist is actually so terrifying. I reckon that if a flower were to grow on my body, it would instantly suck me dry. The geniuses were trembling in fear. Lin Xian's eyes flickered as he clenched his fists. The myriad demon body, the Tao of wood. He was simply too shocked. He didn't expect the North Demon to be so strong. However, at the same time he was extremely excited. He had finally found an opponent who was worthy of his full strength. Previously, neither Jun Wuya nor Han Fei could make him use his full strength. After all, he had only used the power of annihilation. He still had the power of smoke and fire that he hadn't used. Moreover, he had the great dragon sword soul. It could be said that Lin Xian had only used half of his strength previously. Now that he had seen the North Demon's strength, he was very excited. Perhaps only the North Demon could force him to unleash his full power. The competition continued. During this period, Yu Linglong encountered Han Fei again. In the end, Yu Linglong won. Han Fei's expression wasn't very good. If nothing had happened previously, he would still be in third place. However, this time Lin Xian had appeared. If this continued, he would only be in fourth place. He couldn't even enter the top 3? The people from Divine Providence Peak were also in despair. They couldn't accept this result. Didn't that mean that they would be in last place this year? The elders' expressions were also dark. This position had always belonged to Full Moon Peak. They didn't expect Lin Xian to appear from Full Moon Peak this time. Shui Jiue Heimo Huangpu Baidian, and the others were even more bitter. Because other than Lin Xian, Zhong Linxiu and Xin Jingqiu had also appeared. The two of them were extremely powerful. They were second only to Jun Wuya and the others. In other words, apart from those who were close to the Tao, no one else was their match. The spectating Sky Prides were stunned. There would be a huge change in the rankings this year. Yes, the top 3 had changed hands. The top 10 would probably be shaken as well. The first echelon was Lin Xian, who had cultivated close to the Tao. The second echelon had even more changes. The top 2 positions in the second echelon would be taken by Xin Jingqiu and Zhong Linxiu. Huangpu Baidian, Shui Jiue Mo Tian Heimo, and other veteran experts would probably have to stand at the back. Lin Xian was also very happy. He was naturally happy that Xin Jingqiu could achieve such a result. Moreover, Xin Jingqiu hadn't comprehended the power close to the Tao yet. If Xin Jingqiu could comprehend that power, in addition to her spiritual body, she would probably be able to sweep Yu Linglong away. This little girl's potential was definitely super strong. Lin Xian decided that after the competition, he would make a copy of his comprehension of the Tao and give it to Xin Jingqiu so that she could comprehend the power close to the Tao as soon as possible. The competition was gradually coming to an end. Currently, only Lin Xian and the Northern Demon were victorious. Lin Xian had also exchanged blows with Yu Linglong. The two of them had fought fiercely and were extremely shocked. However, in the end, Lin Xian still defeated Yu Linglong. As for him, he had only used the power of the Great Dragon of Annihilation Sword Soul. He hadn't used the Law of Fire either. Yu Linglong's delicate little face was covered in ice. She didn't expect that other than losing to the Northern Demon, she would lose to Lin Xian again. In this way, wouldn't she fall to third place? Han Fei was even more miserable. He was indeed fourth. This Lin Xian was too strong. He could actually defeat the second-ranked Yu Linglong. Most likely, only the Northern Demon would be able to subdue him. Damn it, how could eldest senior sister be defeated? The people from Linglong Peak couldn't believe it. The elders also had ugly expressions. They weren't surprised that Yu Linglong lost to the Northern Demon because they had seen the Northern Demon's strength many times. However, losing to Lin Xian was still difficult for them to accept. Although Lin Xian had comprehended the Plenilune Wordless Steel, although Lin Xian had displayed great strength and defeated Jun Wuya and Han Fei. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.